So I can see based on attendance, this isn't an interesting topic at all. Nobody's interested in what's going on in dining, right? Yeah. I'm gonna do the introduction here. I'm gonna let Teresa talk about all the really important stuff, but I just have a couple of comments to start. I want to say welcome. We're eagerly anticipating the information about the preferred dining program that we've been talking about for several months. We do have raffle tickets because I think it's always good to bribe people with prizes when we're talking about dining. So good luck to you on that. As we go through the presentation, we're going to ask you to hold your questions, and at the end we will do questions and answers once we get through our entire presentation. Also, there will be hard copies of this presentation available at Stephanie's desk. I know we were trying to figure out a way to get it to print so that it's readable because some of the slides were dark, but we will have hard copies of the presentation tomorrow. So one of the big comments that I hear as I've talked to residents and received some feedback so far on the information I shared is, well, is this something LCS is making us do? Well, the answer is sort of yes and no. So yes, this is a program that we are rolling out at all of the LCS Health Peak communities, but this is a program that has been rolled out at communities like Freedom Plaza, regardless of who the company is. So I had a resident I talked to today and had a friend that lived at another community who already uses this type of program. So it's very common, and the motivation behind it is to give people more options on how to utilize their dining component of their contract. So you're not limited to one meal per day with XXX. It gives you an opportunity to use those dollars in any way that you want to. It is supposed to be a good thing. And so I'm confident, while it's a change, and change takes a minute for everybody to understand how it's going to work, I think as we roll this out and you get more accustomed to how it works, you're going to see it provides you a lot more options when it comes to dining. And I'm going to say this multiple times through the presentation, because I'm going to let Teresa talk here in a minute, and then I'm going to talk numbers towards the end. But your monthly fee is not changing. There is nothing about this program that is going to impact what your monthly fee is, what you're being charged for. This is just about giving you a monthly allowance to spend any way you want it in all of our dining venues. And I think as we get to the numbers towards the end of the presentation, you're going to see the amount is going to be ample. If you want to eat every single day, you're going to be able to do that. If you are going to be on our 75% plan, which is similar to the 21 meal plan, you're going to be able to eat for those 21 days or however many days you want to come down to the dining rooms. It's just going to be the adjustment to the a la carte style. So how you use your declining balance in the grill now is going to be how you use your balance in all the different dining rooms. So, and the last thing I'm going to say, and I told Teresa this before, that I was going to stand up here and own this before I turn it over to her. If you've asked me any questions about in-room dining, I was totally wrong in the answers that I gave you. So I own that. I apologize for giving out any misinformation about in-room dining, but Teresa is going to clarify all that for you as we go through the presentation. So with that, I am going to call Teresa up, and she is going to go through the details of the preferred dining program. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Lovely to see you. Just a small presentation today. As you can see, I have an agenda. We've already gone through the overview. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things today. We're going to be talking about our concepts in the dining room. Currently, we have one concept. You come to the dining room, the buffet, and the regular dining room, same menu. But we're gonna be breaking that out into 3 different concepts: the pub, the buffet, and then a la carte dining in the Williamsburg, Tea Rose, Jade, and Nile when the buffet is closed. The American Grill, we're just gonna touch base on that a little bit. Nothing really is changing in the grill except for some opening times. Angie will come back, as she said, and talk about the declining balance, and then off-campus meal credits, and then we're gonna talk about a proposed rollout date. So here we go. So, pub concept, handhelds and extended hours. Last year, we held a survey for all of our residents here, and we talked about the pub concept, where we thought we wanted to do an upscale dining menu and move it more to like a surf and turf type of dining facility. Everyone here, the majority of our residents, about 75% overall, wanted something that was more for like sports bar, pub atmosphere. So we are looking at the pub concept, and the hours of operation will be changing. Monday through Saturday, 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Seating is first come, first serve, no reservations in the pub. But I will tell you, if you come down to the pub and there's no seats available, you have the option to wait, or you can go to another venue. Takeout is available in the pub. A la carte pricing, similar to the grill. So if you look on the side, this is actually a very close to being finished draft of the pub menu. Obviously that name is not the name, but I have come to love it, the Regal Eagle, but I like Three's Company and the Regal Beagle, so I thought, why not make it the Regal Eagle? We'll have happy hour daily from 2 to 4, $1 off all drinks when we actually charge for them, right? So what we looked at is we wanted to do something as it's like a fast casual. Maybe you have a doctor's appointment. Maybe you really don't want to be tied down to the dining room every single night when you come in eating, a coursed out meal. And we wanted to put some fun things in there. We have disco fries. They're flat fries covered with beef gravy finished in the broiler with mozzarella cheese. Blistered shishito peppers. These aren't spicy. They're just really nice pepper. They're blistered with olive oil, served with a mild harissa paste, finished with a molded flake sauce. Twice cooked wings, so we're gonna marinate, roast, and fry them. You're gonna get 3 new options in there because we know we're doing it in the grill, so we're gonna do it differently in the dining room. So the idea here is that you don't have the same items in each concept, right? So in the grill, we fry our wings. Here, we're gonna marinate and roast them, and then we're gonna hit them quickly in the grill so they're crispy, but they're not gonna be breaded. You'll have a classic barbecue, Alabama white sauce, and garlic parmesan. We're gonna do a tuna poke nacho with wonton strips topped with pork, with poke marinated sushi grade tuna. This is raw. Wasabi aioli, carrots, daikon, green onions, sesame seeds, and guacamole. And for those of you who do not like a tuna poke type of nacho, we have short rib nachos, which is a pulled short rib, pepper jack queso, tri-colored tortilla chips, green onions, pickled jalapenos. Also gonna do a lettuce wrap. Those are for a health conscious option as well. Ground chicken, green onion, bell pepper, water chestnut, served with fresh fib lettuce cups and hoisin peanut sauce. Pork belly bows. These are soft, fluffy buns, and they are glazed with a honey soy glaze. Tender pork belly finished with fresh cilantro and crushed cashews. And then we're gonna do a patty melt. Because in the grill, we have burgers, but we don't have patty melts, so we're gonna do our patty melt here in the pub. Grilled marble rye, Thousand Island, melted cheese, caramelized onions, 8-ounce beef patty, cooked to the temperature you're liking. So this is Chef Jamie's menu. This is inspired completely by our new chef, and we're trying to come up with some things that are new and exciting. And the pub menu will be changed out periodically. What will happen is we'll open with this menu and we want to see what our traffic flow is in the pub and what is selling. If we notice that items are on there that aren't going to sell through this process, we're going to take them off and we're going to add some new items in. If you're sitting in the pub and you're like, boy, I just want a cup of soup today or a bowl of soup, and I know you have that in the dining room, we're going to have those options also available in there. We are going to do happy hours. We may have something like boiled peanuts available every day. We're going to start looking at doing, collaborating with resident programs to hold viewing parties for games. We're going to be looking at doing wine and beer flights in the pub. Maybe during Cinco de Mayo, doing a tequila flight. So for those that want to do that sort of thing, and you're excited about, coming down midday and having those types of opportunities in the pub, we are going to be starting that probably 6 months post opening while we work out the kinks. Our next concept is the buffet concept. So with the buffet, it's one price, all courses are included, and it's self-serve. So currently the situation in the buffet is that we're utilizing the exact same menu that's in the dining room, and every once in a while we put a couple bells and whistles on there like extra to get you to kind of go into the buffet. We know that the buffet is not 100% popular every single night, but we do know that there's some items that we can put on the buffet that would drive participation. So the buffet concept will be available in the Maui and Jade. We have played with the days a little bit. The buffet will be available Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night only. We will have soup, salad, themed meals served exclusively in the buffet. So your international nights that you're seeing in the dining room are now going to roll into the buffet. Prime rib will be available exclusively in the buffet. Prime rib is not something that's going to be in the main dining room, and when we get to that concept, you're going to see that. But every Wednesday, prime rib, if that's something that you enjoy, the buffet is going to be the option for you. And the buffet is going to be one all-inclusive price. Everything in the buffet will be self-served. We'll have desserts as well, and the desserts are smaller options in the buffet. Everything's all included in that. Takeout is not available from the buffet. So if you remember, post-COVID, and as we open the dining rooms back up, we had a lot of struggle with our in-room dining. We had close to about, our average was like 125 a day. We could not continue to pack up 125 options or 125 different meals and serve the dining room. So we opened the buffet for that. That was a short-term fix. We've dropped our numbers down to about 80 average on a daily basis. Higher days are Sundays, as they've been even pre-COVID. So with moving back into these and moving on to these new concepts, the buffet is not going to be an option for pickup of buffet because there are concepts that are open from 7:30 in the morning, starting at the grill, to 7 at night. So there are options for you to get a to-go meal or come into the dining room and eat much more than there are now. Sunday meal service. Service time on Sundays. Because we are getting rid of the pickup on Sunday brunch, we are going to alter our meal times on Sunday. What we're seeing is an influx of residents come in, and it's only about 100 of you that partake in Sunday brunch that actually sit down and eat. Everyone comes in we open at 11:30, everyone's there at 11. So we're going to push it back to 10:30 because it is breakfast items, and we're going to stay open until 1:30 because we're really not getting a ton of residents that are coming in after that anyway. IRD pickup on Sundays is going to be available in the grill only. So we are going to shift the time in the grill from 3 to 2. We're going to have pre-order options available, and we are currently working with Full Count on creating the buttons for that day, so during those time frames you can pre-order your food before you come down. In addition to our Sunday brunch, we are going to have made-to-order items through the kitchen. Items are subject to change, but what we're looking at are week 1 doing a stuffed French toast, which would be brioche or Texas toast that's stuffed with like blueberries and a cream cheese filling and made to order. Pancakes, different types of pancakes, strawberry pancakes, banana walnut pancakes, or no walnuts for those that can't eat walnuts. Eggs Benedict on Sunday, for somebody I know. If you're in the menu chats, you know. And then omelets. So the idea of this is we will still have attendees out on the buffet. We will have someone out carving, but we're gonna cook your item fresh coming from the kitchen. So looking at a cruise ship and looking at if you ever go to the buffet or the Sunday brunch on a cruise ship, a lot of times, you put a little ticket on your table and then your food is coming from like kind of a different area. That's what we're going to do because we want a nice, hot item coming out. And you also need to understand that you're in the line of many. So with Sunday brunch, we need to retrain ourselves that If you're gonna go in line and get your plate of bacon and then put your order in for your omelet, probably eat your bacon or eat it cold while you're waiting on your omelet, because it's not coming out at the same time, right? But we'll go through that as we get closer to it. Okay, this is really what you came for, right? Buckle up. Okay, I'm kidding. Okay, so Premier Dining. What is Premier Dining? It's a la carte pricing. It's a 2-week menu rotation, a 2-week menu cycle, I'm sorry. And it's takeout boxes that are included as well. What do I mean about 2 weeks? Currently, in our current situation, we are making 42 different entrees a week. 42. That does not include our always available entrees. That really includes just like the stuff that we're making, whether it's a weekly or a daily option, some extra items that we're putting on the brunches and the buffets. I don't know about you, but for those of you who ran a household and you cooked, if you had to make a different entree for every single person in your family, one of those entrees would have been really great and the other ones might have been thrown together, right? That's what we feel like we're doing in the dining room. Consistency is a huge issue. And overall, in the market of senior living and looking at what we're providing our residents and knowing that food is so important, especially at this level of care, we want to be consistent more than we're inconsistent. And no matter what we do, we seem to fall behind the 8 ball on it, because if I make chicken marsala in week 1, it may not come up until week 1 again, which is 5 weeks later. Yes, we have a recipe. Yes, we are training them to use recipes. But if Johnny makes it versus Jake may put an extra spin on it that everybody likes or totally dislikes. So what we are trying to accomplish from this by having a 2-week cycle is that you have a large amount of menu items, up to 14 menu items, and they will be the same menu items for 2 full weeks. Look at it from a day perspective. You have 14 items, 2 weeks is 14 days, but 2 of those days are Sunday brunch, which aren't included in that, so it's 12 days for 14 menu selections. So, and just in case you're wondering, the picture, everything that I have on here food picture-wise, this all has come out of our kitchen. Whether it is a holiday meal, this happened to be a marketing meal. A lot of the stuff that we do that you're seeing pictures on from the buffet are what Rosa has been working on with the interdepartmental events, everything that's done in the atrium. So I have pulled our own pictures. These are not stock photos. So these are things that we are capable of if we are doing a smaller menu, but with items that we can do daily to be more consistent. It affects everything. We're looking at lunch hours right now, Monday through Saturday in the dining room, plated service. So that will change because right now we moved to buffet service. We moved to buffet because of post-COVID, because we could not staff the dining rooms. So this was a simple fix that we put in place so we can open up before all the other communities in our portfolio. I mean, we are in 2023 right now, and we have one of our sister communities down in Bradenton just got rid of their buffet at lunch, literally last week. We have, they have not been plating at all. What we did was said, well, we're gonna do buffet at lunch, but we're gonna plate at dinner. They were still on buffet for dinner as of last week. So we had to do that so then we can get closer to moving forward. So when we look at our hours of lunch, we're gonna actually shift that back from 11 to 1. We're not seeing residents come down after 1 o'clock. Everybody wants to come right at 12, but they're in line at 11:30. So what we're going to do is we're going to open at 11. Now, it's going to be funny. I'll give you an update on it after a couple weeks. If everyone's in line at 10:30, I know that there's never going to be a fix for a line in Plaza. Dinner. We're also going to shift open to 4 o'clock. Again, the line. We have a lot of residents that are programmed to come down and get in line. If we open a half an hour early for the probably 40 residents that are in line at 3:30, or I'm sorry, at 4 o'clock, we will be able to turn the table a little bit faster. So we're gonna see how that works. Again, this is what we wanna open with. Is this where we'll be in 6 months? I don't know. I mean, it's really, you all will be the judge of the gauge of that. And we're gonna monitor what's going on and what times you're coming down and how you're coming down. It's all about participation. You can't finish a meal, we have a box for you. It's no like, hey, don't tell anybody, but hey server, can you give me a box? Like, I really just want to take this home. It's no Ziploc bags. You don't have to put it in your walker. I'm going to take this home for my dog. We're just going to give you a box. I mean, let's not fight it anymore. Let's just do it, right? Yay! So that's a good takeaway, right? So like I said, we're going to have a 2-week menu choice. They're going to include 10 to 14 daily selections. Menus will remain the same for 2 weeks. Sunday brunch will be a separate menu. We will also have chefs' menus based on availability. What does this mean? Chef Jamie could be doing an event for, maybe a resident booked an event for like lamb chops. And we had to bring in a lot of cases of lamb chops in order to do this, but we knew we weren't gonna bust into that second, case of lamb chops. We have them on hand. And maybe it's like, you know what, I wanna do a lamb dish, I have 40 portions available. Well, that night, when you come into the dining room, that's gonna be available. I'm not gonna be able to get that out to you the day before. It's just like when you go to a restaurant. They always have daily specials. So it's a chef special. So he may say, well, we're gonna have lamb chops today with a bunch of other fun stuff that, it's a nice composed meal, blah, 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 you like it, and we offer it at 4 o'clock, and by 4:45, maybe we're sold out of it. Those are the breaks. That's what we have to do. It's the same thing with fresh fish. If we bring in Chilean sea bass because we're serving it for Christmas, and we have, a couple, like 20 pounds of sea bass left over, we may have 60 portions for that day that we want to sell for. And there will be a cost associated with that, of course. But again, chef specials are subject to run out. We will also have homestyle selections, sea, which is anything of the sea, fish or seafood, land, anything that walks on land, chicken, duck. I mean, I know that they're in water too, but that's on pork, beef. We're going to keep bowls on the menu. Bowls have been very, very, very popular, and we notice that when we do the bowls, a lot of you that are ordering them aren't even really ordering sides with them. So when you see the pricing that comes up on this next slide, then you're going to understand how everything is priced. And then we'll have our daily sides. You're not really going to be able to read this, and I understand that. So don't freak out. I'm going to go through each item. I'm going to kind of go through an overall view of what the cycle menu is going to look like. So this is cycle 1. So this is an idea of what you would be looking at, except A, you'd be able to read it. No matter what I did with this, I couldn't get the font to be bigger, and I do apologize. But on the first page of it, I'm supposed to have like this thing that, hold on. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh good. I'm going to be taking this home for my cats tonight. So up here, we have our salads. So the first salad that we have, we'll always have 2 salads on the menu, like smaller side salads. A tomato cucumber salad will be on this cycle, and a plaza salad. There's prices associated with it. And I know that that's probably what you really want to see, right? The tomato cucumber salad is $2, the plaza salad is $4. Then you come down and you look at your entree salads. We're always going to have an entree option available. This week, this cycle will be the Cobb salad, and then we'll have the Freedom Plaza salad as an entree that you can add a protein to it. Those are $10 each. That would be a dinner. I mean, that's your dinner, so that's not a bad deal, right? Okay, calm down. You don't know what the total price is yet, and I'm doing that on purpose because I don't want you to be doing math in your head and then you're not paying attention. I know how this works. You see your dressings here. We have dressings. We have regular dressings, fat-free dressings, and sugar-free dressings. Look at that. Soups. We have our cup of soup, which is $2. The bowl would be $4. We have a soup of the week, chicken noodle. What that means is on Saturday and Sunday, we will go down to 1 soup. But Monday through Friday, we will have 2 soups. We will have the chicken noodle as every day, and we will have another soup across, to counter that. Why are we doing that? On Saturdays and Sundays, our lowest attendant day, and we're trying to be able to, produce all of the sauces and the components to these dishes that we need to do. So if we can alleviate one of those soups, it does help. Bowls. On the bowls, you're going to get a choice of a soup or salad with that. Choice of soup or salad. Southwest Chicken Bowl. You can get it as a boat. You want a half order? You can get that as for $12, or you can get a bowl for $14. That comes with the cilantro rice, back beans, shredded chicken, cheddar cheese, tomato, tortilla strips, and avocado ranch. So something very similar to what we do in the dining room. Portion's gonna be nice and large. If you can't finish it and you wanna spend the 14 and you wanna take the rest home, please do. Homemade lasagna, same thing. We have a bowl or a boat option. But again, the portions on these are going to be larger, a little bit of a larger portion. And again, if you cannot finish it, then you can bring it home. But with the bowl options that we have here, we're gonna have 3 bowls every week. You're gonna have a choice of just soup or salad with that. So we're gonna go to the second page. We have the 3 mains, which are the land and sea, and then home style. So on all of these items over here, you will have a choice of soup or salad and 2 sides. And if you look at the cost on these items, for example, the bruschetta salmon, it's a 6-ounce filet of salmon, and it's gonna have a bruschetta sauce on it with tomatoes and basil and garlic, and that's $17. And you have your choice of soup or salad, and then you can also get your 2 sides. Scallops Mornay, now that's gonna be a higher option. These are 4 U10 sea scallops. These are large. We're at $36 for that option. See, when we're not shopping every night for ourselves and we come down to the dining room, we don't realize the costs on it, right? So these costs are not inflated, they're market costs. Crab cakes, 2 3-ounce crab cakes that we're gonna make in-house. Those are $22. Again, choice of soup or salad and 2 sides. Get over here to the land. We have chicken marsala. That comes in at $12. Herb roasted chicken quarters comes in at $12. Center cut pork chop, which is a nice 6-ounce center cut pork chop, grilled and served with a mango and sour cherry reduction, that's $18. Grilled filet of beef, we're looking at a 6-ounce center cut filet of beef, grilled to perfection and served with Béarnaise sauce. Who's my Béarnaise sauce lover in here? I know. Oh, there he is. And you don't have to have it with Béarnaise, but it's at $20. Smoked pork ribs, half a rack, $20. Then you have then you have home style. For those of you who are like, I really don't want fancy stuff every night for dinner, although we do have things like roasted chicken under land and sea, but these are things that generally when we have residents that like to eat more simpler items, that don't want to eat items that they necessarily have not eaten before. Open face roast beef sandwich is at $12. We have the chicken tenders and waffles, where you're gonna get some tenders in a Belgian waffle with a light dusting of powdered sugar and maple syrup, that's at $15. Kielbasa and sauerkraut is at $11. Remember, each one of these over here, you're gonna get choice of soup or salad, 2 sides. Your sides will be the same for 2 weeks. On the bottom, we will always have 5 starches, between 4 and 5 veg. We have cold salads. So we'll have, like this week in particular, we have this 2-week cycle, we have 3 bean salad, cottage cheese, applesauce, macaroni salad, and then your fresh fruit. So your fresh fruit can be one of your sides, or you can just add an additional side for $2. And every week on the side here, we show you what the fresh fruit options are for the entire week. Monday is apples, Tuesday strawberries, Wednesday grapes, Thursday melons, Friday pineapple, Saturday fresh fruit. So we try to incorporate and encompass everything on the menu that everyone, as you all come to me individually and to members of our team and have spoken to Angie, the important things that matter to you individually and as the majority of our residents. So let's go through some scenarios. Oh, let's talk about dessert, sorry. So dessert is not included in your meal, but your drinks, choice of soup or salad, and your 2 sides are. Desserts are not included. However, desserts are also not a big expense, but if you play your dollars right and spend your dollars right, if dessert is important to you, you're gonna incorporate that into your daily spend. If not, then you're gonna utilize dessert in another way by maybe getting that soup option for the night or getting a higher scale entree. So fruit pies and frosted cakes and cupcakes are going to be $2. Specialty desserts, we have cheesecake. We're gonna have that as something that's always available. We're gonna do a dessert of the day, which will be $5, and a seasonal selection, which will be $5. These desserts are going to be larger desserts, bigger slices of cheesecake. You know, if you go to like Cheesecake Factory and you see something that like, I'm not bringing in Cheesecake Factory, I'm just letting you know. But there are some really great options like tuxedo cheesecakes, a lemon blueberry chiffon, those types of things. And again, you may want dessert and just take it home for later with coffee. Go ahead, that's fine. You're paying for it, so you can take it. With ice cream, we have our single scoops of ice cream. Right now we're doing those in silver bullets. We're getting a better quality dish for that. It's gonna be like a nice white dish. Single scoops are $1 for each scoop. You get to an ice cream sundae, you want a little bit of, you know, powdered sugar on it, some chocolate sauce, $3. If you want a banana split, we can do that, it's $5. That'll be subject to based on availability of the bananas in the kitchen. Specialty cookies, chocolate chip cookies, and sugar-free cookies are all $1 a piece. I'm gonna be honest, hot fudge is not on my radar right now. It is on about 5 people's radars here, and I will tell you that Baskin Robbins does a great job, real close down the street. Okay, let's go through some scenarios. So we're gonna talk about residents, individual. Some of you might recognize this if you eat this way, and I've actually utilized a few residents that talk to me in depth about their eating habits, and that's how I got to this. So we have 3 residents. Resident A, oh shoot, sorry. There we go. Resident A eats an average of four days per week. Doesn't care for most of the menu selections. Leaves a lot of money on the table every single month. Enjoys prime rib, filet, scallops, higher end options. All the below options have a choice of super salad and come with 2 sides. So this is how this resident in particular would eat. And then I'm gonna tell you about money. So what we're looking at is a dining allowance going up to $510 a month. Every 30 days, you're gonna get another $510. So that's where this math is coming in. So on night 1, this resident in particular wants to get a filet with béarnaise, choice of super salad and 2 sides for $20. And then for dessert, this resident is gonna get pie, and it is $3, actually it should be 2. I changed all of this, I don't know why that didn't come up, so I do apologize. On night 2, crab cakes. Ice cream, we're gonna do a sundae. On night 3, center cut pork chops, cookies. On night 4, scallops mornay. So the total for the week here is $104. I can tell you 1, 2, 3, take $3 off that. So it's actually 101 because the dessert prices I was just assuming until we actually did the cost out. So out of $510, leaving that total of $422, so it'll actually be $418 left to spend for the remainder of the month. But this particular resident is happy because for the 4 days this resident came down, they got something that they enjoyed off the menu. Because things to them that aren't important is having both soup and salad every night. Things that are not important to this particular resident are home style selections, the grill, the pub, the buffet. Not important. So for this particular resident, this works. Resident B eats daily in the main dining room. Only likes a mix between high end and home style. So this is a 7-day account of what this resident would eat in the dining room. So on Monday, a grilled, filet of beef. Oh man, stop. Okay, there we go. With béarnaise sauce and then pie. On Tuesday, this resident wants to do a Cobb salad, a cup of soup, and an ice cream sundae. Because the Cobb salad is on the lower end. On night 3, Southwest chicken bowl. Comes with choice of super salad, and then cookies for dessert. Night 4, smoked pork ribs. They get their choice of soup or salad and 2 sides, and then pie for the dessert. Night 5, open face roast beef Sammy with choice of super salad and 2 sides, and they're skipping dessert this night. Night 6, bruschetta salmon. Dessert, they're gonna eat pie, and on night 7, kibasi, and dessert is pie. The total for this week is $118 out of $510, leaving $392 left to spend for the remainder of the month. Resident C, active lifestyle, prefers to eat in the pub, Maui, and grill, only in the main dining room 2 times a week. Day 1, gonna get the filet with the béarnaise and dessert. Day 2, Maui buffet, $17, dessert off the buffet, no charge. If I want ice cream off the buffet and ice cream sundae, I'm gonna be paying a charge for that. So when you go to the buffet, you're getting all inclusive of what is on the buffet that night, which includes soup, salad, entrees, sides, whatever you can eat, no takeout out of the buffet. On day 3, they decided, well, you know, I'm gonna go to the grill for breakfast, I'm gonna breakfast Sammy, and then I'm gonna get the daily special for $7:30. Then on day 4, we're gonna try out the pub and get the tuna poke nachos and 2 cookies. Day 5, back in the dining room for bruschetta salmon, choice of soup, salad, 2 sides, and pie for dessert. Day 6, Maui buffet, ice cream sundae. And then on day 7, back to the grill for a club Sammy and a drink. Total of $110.25 out of $510 total, leaving $399 left on the table. So there's different scenarios for different types of residents and how you all eat. So let's talk about the American Grill and how that's going to play into this concept. So the one thing about the American Grill, and the one thing that we do have in our community that not a lot of other communities have, is we have our general store. And I know it's looked flat in this last couple of months. I really agree. But I can get up in front of you and say we finally got half gallons of milk. Who saw the half gallons in the grill? Yay! Who's purchased one? Yay! We have a couple. So we have found that our produce vendors can get us half gallons of skim and regular milk. So we are starting to build our cards with that. So if that's something that was really important to you, I'd suggest you get in there and purchase it. Because if we sit on milk and we get rid of the milk and get rid of it, we're not going to continue to do that. So they also brought in half gallons of lemonade and orange juice. We also have 2 different companies that we work with, one being Vistar and then one being a grab-and-go company that is all fresh out of Hollywood, Florida. And we do order these things on occasion, and we bring them in, and they get dwindled down. A lot of associates take advantage of it, more so than residents. But I think with having $510 a month versus the $227 or $157, depending on the meal you're on, now the general store might play more of a role in how you spend your balance down. The idea behind all this is that we don't want you to be sitting there with $30 at the end of the month and going into the grill and buying $30 worth of scones or ice cream. So, I know we're used to that, but do you really eat it all? Is it just in your freezer waiting, to have a group or a party, and every month is it the same thing? We really want you to utilize all the dollars that you have. The hours of operation in the American Grill are Monday through Saturday, 7:30 to 1:30. General store, we're going to keep open until 2 o'clock. So at 1:30, we're going to do a hard cutoff on hot food and either cold food on that line, but if you got to run in, grab some milk, 2 o'clock. On Sundays, we're going to flex back to 2 o'clock as an open because that is the only option for in-room dining pickup on the campus that day. General store will be stocked with the following items to spend down balances: soda, juice, milk, butter, eggs, grab-and-go items, pre-made salads, sandwiches, snack packs, yogurts, pudding, fruit, candy, chips, nuts. All of these items can be used to decline your balance down. What cannot be used are any sundry items, like Tums, toilet paper, cleaning supplies. None of that can be used. So let's talk about takeout. So takeout is going to be available, as always, in the grill, in the pub, and in formal dining. But the way we're going to do this is going to be very similar to the grill. The grill, it can be ordered through the portal. I don't know if a lot of you have seen, there have been a few of you that probably have seen the change to the single touch sign-on with full count. If you haven't yet, it is because we are trying to get your account set up. That must mean that you have 2 email accounts. Pamela and her team have been reaching out to everybody. But when you log into Touchtown very soon, within the next 30 days, you should be able to open full count, make your reservations, make an order through any of the venues that we have, but right now currently it's just the grill, and you can manage that through Touchtown. And another option is that you'll be able to link your reservations. So if I'm having dinner with Ms. Wellington, I can make the reservations and she'll see it come up in her Touchtown, or in her full count. So the same thing with takeout is you'll be able to order that through full count, but we will also have options for those who are not using our systems. The grill for takeout, grill is always open. It's always an option. Always an option 7 days a week. Monday through Saturday, 7:30 to 1:30. You can order it through the portal. You can walk in, stand in line. Sundays, only pickup order on Sundays now is the grill from 2 to 6. So for us, we need to make sure we're stocked for you, right? Because ultimately, we are only seeing about 40 residents come in. So we know we may have an influx of 120 residents come in, or maybe Sundays aren't that important and you would rather spend your money in the dining room. So it's all about where we see participation. We are right now, it's a guessing game. We are trying to figure out where everyone is going to be eating once these concepts are rolled out. And then again, if we have to pivot back, we will. Pub concept, stop in, grab a drink, order a meal for takeout. Just like you would go to any, casual dining type of area, outside restaurant, you can do that. Or you can place an order through the full count portal, or the host, who's going to be sitting out there, Monday through Saturday from 1 to 4. 1 to 4 is always going to be the downtime in dining. Between 1 and 4, we have concepts available. The concept we have available is the pub for you to come in and eat. If we see we have a lot of residents coming in between 1 and 4, then we will extend hours of plated dining in the Williamsburg or T Rose. But for right now, we're going to keep it from, the dining rooms are closed at that time except for the pub. Formal dining. Monday through Saturday, you would do the same thing. Order through the portal or the host. Pickup times are between 1 and 4, Monday through Saturday. This has nothing to do with medical dining. This has to do with residents that can come down, choose not to eat in the dining room, and choose to pick up a meal. So if you're going to choose to pick up a meal, the ways to do it are through the dining portal, where you can track your spend very, very easily, or you come down and we have a menu, you order it through the host will put the order in, and she will let you know what time you can come back to pick up your order. Buffet concept, takeout is not available off of the buffet. Oh, I thought that was like a, it scared me. So that's kind of the overview of all of the concepts. There's a lot of change there, I do recognize that. We do know that this is a huge undertaking. If you don't think that in the 16 years that I've been here, getting up today wasn't probably one of the toughest presentations that I've had, and we've been through some doozies, this has probably been the toughest. But the difference is I've been kind of like living through this for a while, so I understand the program very, very well inside and out. My team is very versed in it as well. However, it doesn't mean that we're not nervous about the rollout. We understand you're gonna have a ton of questions, and you're gonna have a ton of suggestions. Right? So, during this time, as we are, Angie's gonna finish up and talk about the planning balance, we're gonna take some Q&A, but know that as we have done in the past, if we are doing something that is not working for the overall, when I say overall, remember there's 528 residents that live here. If we're getting complaints from the majority, then we're gonna pivot and make some changes. But as Angie let you know while we open this up, is that this is something that most senior living communities are moving to. This is something that is already working at other LCS communities in the other portfolios. And we are not the only community rolling this out in our portfolio. There are 5 of us. We're just kind of first because we're really good at organizing. And then once we roll out, the rest of the communities will follow. So by the end of next year, ideally 2024, everyone will be on this in our portfolio. So I'm going to let Angie speak next. Thank you for listening. All right, so I'm going to talk the numbers piece of it. Teresa already said we're looking at a $510 allowance per month if you are on the full meal plan. The other option we're going to have is going to be the 75% plan, which will give you $383 per month. You will continue to receive if you select the 75% plan, you will continue to receive the same credit you do on your bill for the 21 meal plan. Now, the catch here is, if you want the 75% plan, where everybody here has the option of of going 75%. But what we're not gonna do going forward is let people flip-flop every other month to decide what plan they're on. So if you want the 75% plan, we'll have a deadline, and when we know for sure when this is gonna roll out, we'll let you all know so you can decide what plan you wanna be on. So the other thing, and I've mentioned this at another meeting, is that we are gonna stagger the cycle of the declining balances, mainly to avoid that rush at the end of the month on the grill where there's a line going the whole way out into the atrium and everybody's trying to buy their scones and everything else, so they use up their balance. So you can see here, we're gonna have 5 billing cycles. One that will end on the 5th, the 10th, the 15th, the 20th, and the 25th of the month. We're gonna divide you up by floor and GVT building. We don't know exactly how we're dividing that up yet, but we will share that information when we split it up. We will continue to offer the off-campus meal credits as we do now. So if you snowbird, or if you're away for a medical reason, Plaza West or in the hospital, as long as you're gone 7 consecutive days, you'll receive a credit like you do now. We do that retroactively, so you're gonna have to at least have, I think I put the number up there, we go back and make sure you didn't make up the meals. So I think I've shared this before. Years ago, if somebody filled out an off-campus form, we would give you the meal credits ahead of time. And then we found out that people were making up the meals after we gave them the credit. So we don't do that in advance anymore. So what we will do is we will go back at the end of the month to make sure you were gone 7 days and you didn't make up those meals at other points in the month. But that will continue as planned. And again, as I said at the beginning of this meeting, nobody's monthly service fee is changing because of this program. The only thing that's changing is the amount of your declining balance and the fact that you're going to be ordering a la carte off the menus. They are the 2 changes. And I know there's been a lot of trepidation. Well, I'm not going to be able to, am I going to be charged extra? Am I going to, because of these meals that are higher in price, what happens if I go over my balance? I think Teresa did an excellent job showing you different ways that people eat, and they were representative of our residents that are going to have ample amount to spend and get exactly what they want off these menus. I think our bigger challenge, as I've talked to Teresa, is are you going to be able to spend it all, right? I think that's a bigger concern than are you going to not have enough. So this just gives you a much different perspective and different options on how you can spend that balance. Talking timeline, Teresa, do you agree, beginning of the year? That's really what we're shooting for. We're shooting for the beginning of the year rolling out this program. And the other thing we're going to do, I don't know, Teresa, do you have the clicker to go to the next? So we are starting our floor meetings the first week of October. The schedule for those floor and building meetings is going to go out with my memo today. You can't read these times, but there will be a very clearly printed schedule that goes with the memo. And these meetings, at every single meeting, it will be myself, it will be Teresa, it will be Chef Jamie, and predominantly we will be answering your questions and talking more about this preferred dining program. Obviously, we can talk about other topics that you have and answer any other questions you have, but we know that this is going to continue to generate some questions, and we want to make sure we put everybody at ease before we get to the beginning of the year and roll this out. So I think that's it, isn't it, Teresa? So let's have it. What are the questions? Pamela, can you scribe on these? Do you have I have a notebook.
guest meals be charged? At the same rate as the menu here, or?
Yes. So the question was guest meals. How will we charge guest meals? Guests are going to pay the menu price for whatever they order. Yeah, hello?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joyce McCutcheon. I would like for each of you to remember a few very important points while you think about this meal plan. First of all, my contract, which we signed in 2018, called for our monthly fee to be increased by the CPI for this region plus 2%. I will tell you right now that in the time since we signed our contract, our monthly fee has gone up 32%. Just think about that. Now, on our bills each month, there is nothing broken out at all for food. It's all in one big package. So the $7.50 assignment is really just sort of funny money. Well, whatever. And $7.50, right? Anyway, so now in August 31st, because it was August, there were 31 days, and our amount was $232.50 each. That would have been $7.50. Now, if we go to $510 a month, that would be $17 a day per person. Now, I happen to like salmon. I couldn't read the prices, but I caught the part about salmon would be $17. That's kind of steep. So, what question? I want you to think about these things. And I would like to know, in my contract, it says that one meal each day in the main dining room or cafe will be provided. And I would like to know what entails one meal per my contract. Thank you.
So one meal is whatever you want it to be. So you can make your one meal each day. You have, we noted all the different venues in which you can eat. So if you want your one meal to be at the buffet, it can be at the buffet. If you want your one meal to be in the dining room, it can be in the dining room. If you want it to be lunch in the grill, it can be lunch in the grill. If you want to go to the pub and get nachos, that can be your one meal a day. This is about giving you flexibility to decide what you want your one meal per day to be. So this is to not define a meal, it's to give you the option to decide what you want your meal to be every day. Okay. Just
On my plan,
Like this.
sorry, I get 2 meals a day. And that's almost the amount that you're giving for one meal a day. So how does that affect me?
I'm not real sure yet, but we're gonna figure that out. But it's all gonna work as simply as it does now.
Okay.
If I sign up for a meal plan and you say you don't want to switch these back and forth, how long do I stay on that plan before I have the option of changing?
So what we want is if you wanna be on the 75% plan, you can be on that as long as you want. But if at some point you decide you wanna go to the full meal plan, you can do that whenever. But we just don't want people changing back and forth all the time, because we have a lot of that now. It's a one-time change, so you go in at what you want, and then if you want to go to the other plan, you have a one-time option to do that. because we are still offering the medical, like, meal credits and off-campus meal credits, those should be, that is what the flexibility is in your meal plan. So if you're not gonna be here for 7 days or 10 days because you're traveling, you're automatically gonna get that credit back. So flipping between the 21 and the meal a day really doesn't serve a huge purpose as far as if you're gonna switch, you're just already signing your off-campus credits and your medical credits if you are off-campus for that.
You know, we have a meal credit every month for like 150. What would it be now with the new options that you're giving us?
You're asking about the 21 meal credit, so she would go to the 75% if that's what you are asking. If that's what you're gonna end up starting with, it looks like it would be $383 a month. It's the 75% plan.
She just
That would be the same every single month.
answered my
Who has a mic? Jamie has it in the back. Do we have anybody in the front? Because we have a lot of people. Okay, Melly, and then she's coming up.
Teresa,
Yes.
uh,
Oh, thank you.
you've done a terrific job on giving us opportunities on the food.
Yes.
My question is on the cost of the food.
Mm-hmm.
You've given us one-time opportunity to select our either 75% or 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I would like for you and Angie to get together and perhaps offer us an opportunity, either a quarterly or a semi-annual opportunity to change our the way we cost our food, because it is a new opportunity for us, and I'm not too bad with numbers, but I'm confused.
Okay, I think that's fair. So give Teresa and I an opportunity to talk through that and what it's like. What we're really trying to avoid is we have folks that change every single month, depending on what they're doing that month. So we can come up with some sort of cadence, maybe like an open enrollment like Medicare has. How about that? Everything goes to open enrollment. Who has the mic? Carol.
I'm disappointed only because I can't order salmon as a backup every time. And like, you know me, I don't order a ton. And there's no way for me to get just a small piece of salmon without paying $17.
Okay.
I tell you, last night at my table, we were given 2 of these tickets. One we had to sign, and one we took home. And this has not been explained. The table next to me did not get that.
Okay, I'll explain that right now, and I apologize that rollout wasn't as smooth as what we had planned. We've been working with full count. We're gonna get 2 tickets every single night. So the reason being for the signature on the one is that one of them you're gonna go home with. The signature is coming back to us. You're gonna be signing to check that your food was rang up correctly. So when we move on to the preferred dining plan, we wanna make sure that we're charging you correctly, right? And you need to acknowledge that, and you need to get a receipt. So we need to get the servers into the habit of doing that. And Carol, you know as well as I do, you know, when we roll out stuff, it takes like 27 times of them to do it in order for it to be, you know, fluid. We did not explain that correctly to all of the residents, and I do apologize. But we are gonna be working through that a little better. We're gonna pause on it right now, and then next week in the Wednesday memo, we'll get it out to all of the residents because we will have gone through this program. Thank you for bringing that up.
So I just have 2 comments to make. The first is that I've had a look at the new system, and there are challenges where I think it would be super helpful to have some residents trained to use the system to walk through with them. And I think here this is pretty complicated. So how the charges are going to look, the new bills. It would be great perhaps to have a group of a few residents who are well-trained and walk through what the charges are going to look like, how someone can go back and reconcile, how people can keep track, because this is pretty complicated. So that's my recommendation, that maybe a group of residents would be happy to kind of collaborate and work with other residents. Secondly,
no mention was made of the private dining rooms. It's just a side topic to cover.
So I'll take both of your questions. So the first one is, as far as the change on billing, your receipts are going to tell you what you've spent for the night. There's no change there. As far as full count, there is a new interface with full count that's very user friendly, and the feedback I have gotten back from the residents that have changed over say that it looks very, very nice, it's professional, it's easy to use. However, if we have residents that are having some issues with it, I definitely want you to reach out to Pamela, Melly, myself, so we can walk you through it. Okay, that's fine, and we can definitely help you with that.
Yeah.
The other part of that is the private dining room. So private dining rooms will work the same as preferred dining. So you have a private dining room, you would have that preferred menu in there, or you can say, I want everyone to have an open faced beef sandwich tonight. We've all decided on that. That's the cost of the meal. So it's a la carte, just like it is in the dining room.
Okay, so I think what people are gonna look for, they're gonna try and reconcile, on this night I had blah blah, and on that night I had such and such.
And that's what the
And they're
receipts
gonna-
are for, yeah.
And then when they get their bill at the end of the month, and they're charged for whatever, some way of getting itemizations and details.
That's
That's the
through,
comment.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
through the full count portal. So how many of
Yes.
you use the full count portal? Can we get some hands up?
Yeah.
And everybody can look around?
Yeah.
So there's a few of you that are not, and if you have the capability,
Yeah, thanks.
we would like to get you on there. If you notice every single week, thank you, Cyril, those are great questions. Every week in the, on the grill, weekly, it will tell you that if you would like to get in contact and like to understand the full count portal, please reach out to Pamela, she'll walk you through it and we'll get you through that, okay? Question, Mr. Palma.
It's on this slide that you have here on declining balance. I've been here for 2.5 years, and I hope I haven't missed something on that $41 a month credit thing for 2.5 years. What is that? Have I missed something? Or-
So that's if you select a 21 meal plan, you get a $41 credit on your bill every month per person. If you opt for that instead of the meal a day program.
Teresa, I'm stunned speechless, which everyone here knows rarely happens. But I have a question, like, is the salmon $7.50, right? Is that right? And in the past, if you didn't like something you had for an entree, you could send it back for another thing. So when you're paying a huge amount for just a piece of meat and you don't like it, can you send it back and have it done properly like we are able to do now?
Yes,
Yes?
yes.
And another concern I have is my husband, who now lives permanently in Plaza West Skilled Nursing, but had a scooter to go to the dining room, and where there's going to be such a big emphasis on getting things to the buffet, and that's really challenging for people with walkers and scooters, and there's a huge number of people that want to eat in the dining rooms every night and want the service, and then we have to park all the scooters, walkers, whatever. When a lot of people are going to want to go to the buffet because they can't get what they want in seated dining, then the large number of people we have who have a cane or a walker or a scooter or whatever, we have enough problems seated dining now as it is, but putting those people to the buffet line,
What's the question?
I'm saying
I guess
that
we're just confused on what the question is, Martha. I know that
we want a lot of people to go through, there's a lot of opportunities to go through the buffet line, but when you have too many people, or a lot of people with walkers and scooters and canes and all that, it's gonna be challenging for those people.
Martha, the presentation just literally said that we're taking away the buffet at lunch and it's gonna be plated service. And we only have the buffet available Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays. So we went from 7 days of opening in the buffet down to 3 at night, nothing at lunch, and just Sunday brunch. So there's 4 options to eat at the buffet, so mostly everything is plated service.
And we have to make an appointment for a certain time that we're gonna be there.
For Plated service, yes.
And we have doctor's appointments and things like that, we
But
don't always
but
know.
none of this is different than it is now when it comes to reservations or in the buffet and folks that need help in the buffet. So if people go to the buffet and they need assistance, we're gonna help them.
Yeah.
And reservations aren't a new concept. They've been in place for 2 years. So none of that is changing with this program.
And the pub and the buffet are no reservations now. You're just gonna walk in, first come, first serve. So there are 2 places that we will not have reservations, but plated service is reservations only, yes. Oh, wait, I already have somebody I'm not allowed, just get out of the, I think Mr. Higgins has been waiting.
Will we have a declining balance each time when we have our meal, whatever we pick, and then they're given this ticket? Will that be a declining balance, our current decline at the end of that day?
Yes, absolutely. Same as it is now, yes.
Okay, my question is, are you gonna retrain the service staff so that they get the tickets? For instance, last
Correct,
night, we
yes.
didn't get tickets, we got charged twice.
Yes, we understand that, and that's what we were working on with the tickets as we're rolling this out. There's gonna be, and we have to train residents as well. So there is, like, that situation with what we're doing on changing the menus and how residents are coming in. Servers should be able to get the tickets in a faster time. We're getting ticket like guest sheets, so they can put the tickets on like a guest tab with a pen, so you can sign it, leave it on the table before you leave. So that's what we're doing for the next 4 months, 3 months. Sorry. They have the microphones in the back. I'm sorry, they're going to hit this first row very shortly. Yes.
We eat lunch every day,
Yes.
so what are our options?
So you have 3 options at lunch, actually. You have the main dining room, which will open at 11 and close at 1, and it will be plated service. So it will be probably like, we may start with the Williamsburg, maybe rotate the Williamsburg and the Tea Rose, just to kind of give you a change. You can go to the pub opens at 1 o'clock. You can also go to the grill, because the grill's open for lunch. So lunchtime, you have 3 options. You're welcome.
I have 2 questions.
Buffet lunch will no longer be buffet, it will be plated. We're gonna go back to the plated portion. Yes, who's next? Thank you, Jim.
2 questions. The first question is, you had talked in the past about, guests, you were using declining balance of guests. You didn't make any mention of that. And the second question I have is, we were getting $7.50 for our meals, and we got a $4 credit. So now that we're getting $17, why isn't the credit $8 or, somewhere between $8 and $9?
The credit's not changing. So it's staying as it is.
So the people that are doing the 75% are penalized for getting less money?
Well, they're not penalized because the monthly service fee itself isn't changing. So you're using 3/4 of the plan and you're getting the same credit. And technically we don't have to offer the 75% plan if we didn't want to. So we're gonna continue to do that because we know it's popular with the residents, but we are not changing the credit amount because truthfully, we don't really order differently based on the utilization of either plan. And regardless of who's participating in dining, we have the same overhead. We have the same staffing. We have everything that goes into dining is the same. So there's no real cost savings to Freedom Plaza for the folks that are opting for those reduced plans.
What about the other question?
Oh, guest meals. So initially we thought maybe we could allow you to use your declining balance for guest meals. And then as we got further into it, it became challenging because we're required to charge sales tax on guest meals. And so we decided that we are not going to allow you to use the declining balance for guest meals, but we're just gonna focus on having more options for you to buy items in the general store to utilize that balance.
I have 2 questions.
Melly?
I have 2 questions. One, are you going to take away the alternative for dinner on the left side of the page? In other words, if you want an omelet or a turkey burger or a hamburger or a hot dog, will that still be available as an alternative that when you have your meal?
No, not in the dining room. So if you would like to have a hamburger, a hot dog, or a turkey burger, or an omelet, those options are available in the grill. Currently, the grill is not open for dinner.
So you're taking that one option away from dinner then, basically?
We're gonna take that option away from dinner, but however, the pub does have a burger option on it, a patty melt. So the idea is that it's kind of like if I want steak for dinner, but I go to Red Lobster. Like, I'm not gonna get a steak. I'm gonna get seafood and fish. So what we've done in our dining room, because we have had the same concept for years, is we have tried to add a bunch of items onto our menu to accommodate, and just, we've now maxed out on the amount of items. If you look at other communities, they don't have that many items on the daily. They have like maybe 1 or 2 daily rotating selections, and now they do this always available deal. So it looks like the grill in the main dining room. But our community wants to see nicer, higher ends, actually hot meals changing daily. There are a small percentage that will partake if the menu is flat for them and eat a burger. But what we are trying to accomplish with this, as we open up different venues throughout the day, is that if a turkey burger is the option for you that day, then that day you are going to the grill to get a turkey burger, or you're going into the pub to get a patty melt, that we can sub a turkey burger in for that.
So basically, you're reducing what was available.
We're not reducing it, you just have to go to a different place to
Oh,
get
yes,
it.
you are, because I can't have it for dinner. And that's my point. Also, for those people who have special eating needs, salt-free, or can't have,
What does he say? Oh, Mike.
on their entree, how can we take care of that?
So that is going to be communication with your server or with management that day when you come down. For instance, we have a filet on the menu. If you do not want any salt or any béarnaise sauce on the side of it, you can get that, and that's a low sodium option. If you personally do not eat beef, and we have salmon on the menu, we can do that without any seasoning on it. If we have roasted chicken quarters on the menu, that is going to be your low sodium option for that day. So there are options on the menu in order to kind of work around the dietary needs. However, we are independent living, right? And we need to manage our own diets. Now, I know it's hard to say we're not gonna have the left side of the menu on, but if you wanna eat at Denny's or Bob Evans, we have one very close. We are trying to give you options in different venues to come down and eat where you would like. It's like if you go on a cruise, you can either dress for dinner every night and go and sit through that 2-hour dinner, or you can go and eat at the buffet and go get a burger late at night, because that is what is going to be best accommodating for you. I know that this is a big change, but we are trying to offer additional venues for everyone. Now, in the case of the left side of the menu being taken off, we know that an option down the road may be that we open the grill a little bit later, because we would get more participation. But as we've done this in the past with the grill and we've opened it later, we have not seen the participation. But that could be something that is added on as we get through this and see that our participation is shifting and moving because of the new options.
Just a comment. Since looks like we're redoing our accounting system, I'd like you to put some thought into our guest meals and including the service charge on them for our servers and everything, because right now they get charged, but these servers don't get any appreciation or something out of it. So just think about it.
All right, well, noted.
We have some questions over here too. This section hasn't been accounted for. Oh, somebody's back there. Oh, thank you. Go ahead, Jamie. Who do you got? Stout?
I have a question. Currently, we have the declining balance is adjusted monthly, depending if there's 31 or 30 days in the month.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going to happen with the $510 balance?
I don't have the answer to that. I was told that it should be 500. It's every 30 days that it's adjusted. So I will
Okay, my next question was, at one time there was some talk about potentially combining the balances of a husband and wife together. Is that a yes or no?
No, I think that's gonna remain separate.
Okay.
Remain separate.
Okay, just a clarification. Will we need to make reservations for lunch for the plated meal if we've been going to the buffet in the dining room? So we have to have a reservation for that.
We will not have a buffet for lunch, so you will need to make reservations for the plated dining, yes.
We do need to,
Yes,
okay.
and we have shifted the hours of opening in the dining room from 12 to 11, because we tend to have a line out there prior to opening, so that should help with the line. Yes.
I currently get the 21-day plan, and I'm thinking of increasing it to the full month plan, because now it's $157 on my meal allowance. That will increase to $510, but my monthly fee will not go up, and it's only a $41 credit if I stay on the 75. So it sounds financially that it's a much better deal to sign up for the everyday plan.
And that's really the intent, right? We want everybody to be utilizing the full plan and taking full advantage of the options.
So the pub is going to be just that one menu. You can't have something from one of the other dining rooms in the pub. Okay. And before all this takes effect, are the dining room chairs going to be upgraded? Because I think I mean, really, you're going to charge $25 for a meal, and you got to sit on ripped chairs that mess up your pants or whatever.
So we do have new pub furniture coming already, but we will be getting new dining room chairs. Do I know the exact timing of when that's going to be in relation to the rollout of this program? No, but in one way, shape, or form, we will have new dining chairs in the near future.
I have two comments. The first one, can we have maybe a 3-month trial on if we want 21 days or the full 30 days or month, just so we figure out which one we want?
No, I think that's fair, and Teresa and I will determine what that looks like, if it's a 90-day trial, 6 months, whatever.
And the other question is, I didn't see on there, you may have mentioned, are beverages included, or like if we want a Coke or a coffee?
Yes, one beverage is included with your dinner. Yeah.
And what about bread and accompaniments like that?
Bread, yes.
Okay.
Bread and beverage and condiments, yes.
Okay, I find this very,
Thank you. I know, I love them, Mike.
I find this very confusing. Are we gonna have gluten-free on the menus? How am I gonna handle this? And half the time I order from the other side of the menu because I can't eat what's on this side of the menu. And the grill, you know, I buy my eggs and that kind of stuff in there, but I can't really eat a meal there. So I'm just, are you still gonna have the gluten-free on it? And it's gonna be very difficult.
Just like with the last menu change, we made sure we put gluten-free on, so we'll make sure we mark that off for you. It'll be the same situation. Melly, we've had our hand up right here the entire time. Thank you.
I don't have an issue with anything except the menu. I'm sorry. I don't see any plant-based menu items, and also there's not a lot of variety in the fish items. How do we eat if we don't eat meat?
Are you a vegan or a pescatarian?
I'm a vegetarian.
Are you a pescatarian? Because you eat fish.
I eat fish and eggs, but
so you're a
none of
pescatarian.
meats.
What did you think I said? Why are you laughing at me? Not pescatarian. I said pescatarian.
I was going to say yes, but I didn't know what I was answering.
Oh, so I guess it's just a both. So, yes, We do have plant-based, we do have vegetarian options and vegan options available upon request. Chef Jamie has been working with our lead cooks, Kern. We have some individuals in here. Who in here has ordered a vegan meal? We've got some hands in the back. It's not a lot of residents, but for those that do want to eat that, we just ask your server, I'd like the vegan option for tonight or the vegetarian option. You let them know what you would like, and then they can have that made for you. It's not something that we put on the menu daily because we take some items that we have and we create, and actually it's been really good. I mean, hasn't it, for those of you that have been trying it, they've been getting a little more adventurous with the meals that they're putting out instead of the same old every night. No, you don't have to be a Presbyterian to get a vegetarian meal. It's pescatarian. Funny girl. That's why I needed her up front. All right, does somebody have a mic? Back here, okay, and then I'll
Okay, this is back to the first lady that asked the question about the money and everything being more expensive, and how salmon was $17, and if we go to the 3/4 thing, I divided it and we have $18 to spend. Okay, now that means if I want salmon, and I eat a lot of salmon because I don't eat beef and I don't eat pork, so I eat a lot of salmon, I can't have a soup and a salad and a dessert because I spent my whole thing on the salmon. So don't say that it isn't going up or you're getting less, because you can't. Okay, maybe I like crab cakes for $22. That takes a day and a half's worth. So
what meal plan are you on right now?
The 21 day.
So for you, it would be beneficial for you to do the daily, because then that would work out into your mix. You would be able to do all of that because you usually don't come down for 9 meals. So those extra dollars would make up for that with you, or for you. But like as far as the salmon goes, with the salmon, you get a choice of a soup or salad and 2 sides. So you do get one of those options as far as soup or salad. So the additional item that you would add on would be if you would want that soup because you ordered the salad with your meal. And if you do not want 2 sides that are savory, you can also add fruit as one of your sides. We tried to be a little creative with that.
Okay. I guess 21 days is going to be out the windows.
For you in particular, that might be the better option, or we can actually, I mean, once we go through these floor meetings and we give out, and you do get paper copies and electronic copies of this, you're all gonna be sitting there and mathematicians, accountants, we're gonna hear the calculators burning up, you're gonna get on the elevator, people are gonna have their calculators. So, you're gonna come to our floor meetings and we can go through some scenarios with you. If you want an individual scenario based on your eating habit, I can sit with you, Pamela can sit with you on that, and we can see what we can do to work around the system to get you what you need on a daily basis. Absolutely. We have a question here.
I just want to say, I think the residents are so shocked because they had such an increase with the rent, the CPI, and everything, $500 rent increases, and now they're hearing all these high numbers for food. And I think you just have the residents really scared.
So the monthly fee increase is completely independent of this program. So whether we give you $200 a month or we give you $1,000 a month to eat in the dining rooms, your monthly fee is your monthly fee. So my commitment to you is that we will work with you individually to come up and show you how you can eat every single day and not go over your monthly allowance. And then if we get to a point where we need to change menus and maybe offer some different options that make you more comfortable from a price perspective, like we can do that too. So and this is just a sample menu. This isn't the menu you're gonna eat off of the rest of the time that you live here. This was just an example to get a variety of the choices that you might see on a menu.
question? Oh, are we still going to be able to buy or purchase more than one meal a day?
Yes.
I work and I sometimes buy two because I don't buy one the next day, so we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, and you can do it one in the main dining room, the plated, or you can do one in the pub, in the grill, however. Question up here?
Yeah, my name is Penny. I've been in fast food for many, many, many years. And, I want to finish this on a positive note. To me, this is nothing more than any of us going to a restaurant, ordering what you can afford, what you want to eat. Then you get a receipt, you check your receipt. If it isn't correct, you ask for assistance and you correct it before you leave the restaurant. Now, also, I had a funny story 100 years ago where a mother brought her son in and he wanted chocolate ice cream. Well, we didn't carry it. Dairy Queen, there were reasons I didn't carry it, but I could make you anything and turn it into chocolate. And the young man was unhappy. And the mother said, you can't have everything you want. And this is what this is all about. We are grown adults. I can't have everything I want. I would like to have everything, and having everything is wonderful. But you know what? I can't. Now, I think this is going to be great. I can eat the way I want, and I think I'm going to be better off for it, personally. I only want to ask one question. Now, you send out the menu every week, and the items are going to be on there. Are there going to be prices on there? That's wonderful. Now, that's great because, if I were budgeting my money, I could say, gee, I could have a steak tonight and spend $25, which, I never do. But I can know where my money is. Now, at the end of the month, I'm going for that 510, but I got 350 spent. Now I can go anywhere. Yay! Thank you.
The 21 versus 30-day plans, it's my understanding that you're recommending we go to the 30-day plan, which if we do, results in a $41 per head increase. Is that correct?
So let me be clear, we're not recommending that you go to either plan. That's up to you. I think what we need to do as a takeaway from this meeting is give you the option of trying the 75% plan and see how it goes for a period of time, and give you the option of changing if you want to, or vice versa, right? Or maybe you start with the full plan, and then after 3 months, I don't need the full $510, and then you want to go back to the 75% plan. That we can make that happen too. We just have to talk some more about that, but give you those options.
We have been talking about individuals. Now, as a group, most of us use dinner as a social obligation, as a social thing. What are we going to do with a group that want to eat at different venues?
Well, you're all going to have to agree, is what you're going to have to do.
No, but can the person who wants to eat in the buffet and then another person wants to eat at the pub, can they switch?
No. It's you eat the menu of the room that you're eating in.
So it's more individual. So you're going to lose the opportunity of social interaction.
That's up to you and your friends. If you can't agree to all eat in the same location on a given night, and maybe you rotate that location so everybody gets to eat where they want to eat one night a week. But no, we're not going to be hopping between venues and walking plates back and forth.
I would like to say something. Going to other communities, they're set up a lot differently than us. And they always, what is the one thing they say to me? Gosh, I would love to have all my dining rooms in the same venue. And I'm like, really? I would like to have a dining room in this building and this building. And they're like, well, yeah, but when we're taking over this preferred dining, residents do not want to walk to another building to go to a venue. So there's different problems at different communities, right? We just happen to have all of our venues in one area, so at least you don't have to walk out in the heat, but you have to, once you decide on a dining room, that's the menu you're eating off of. Right, yeah.
This is something I've always wanted to know. What is the, if you're off campus and you get a percentage off, so what is it now?
So if you're gone, your credit is $4.10 a day if you qualify for that credit. That's also the credit that's given if you select the 21 meal plan.
So as it is like right now, it's $7.50. Why don't we get off $7.50?
Because there's more cost to running our dining department than food, right? So we still employ all the servers, we still employ all the cooks, we still have all the overhead that goes into providing those meals. So the credit is more what I call a courtesy credit. It's not really representative of a specific cost to Freedom Plaza, because Teresa and Sheffield sit down at the beginning of every month and say, okay, well, these people are on the 21 meal plan, and I don't know, I think maybe 10 people are gonna be at Plaza West, and you know, so-and-so's gonna be in the hospital, so I'm gonna change my food order. It doesn't work that way. There is really no benefit to Freedom Plaza when you elect for the lower meal plan, or if giving those off-campus credits, because our operation doesn't change in those situations.
Also, why you don't carry over a declining balance ever, and so why not? Some people do. I mean, some places do.
Yeah, we're not. And what we thought with this new preferred dining program, because of the different types of menus and your ability to get some of those higher ticket items, if you need to use up your balance, you have plenty of opportunity to use up that money every month.
As far as the pub is first come, first served. And if you've noticed that there's a lot of people waiting, is there any chance that you will extend the hours for the grill to be open as an option? For, like for the pub food type stuff?
I don't know. I think we have to, so I've also heard from some residents that, well, what happens if a big group of people goes into the pub and they just sit there all day?
Yeah.
And I don't anticipate that, but that's something we're gonna have to consider as we see how this all shakes out. So a lot of how this is gonna work is based on what we think the participation is gonna be in each of these locations. And if it doesn't turn out the way we think, we're gonna have to make some adjustments.
I have one more. When you do the menu up for the pub, could you consider putting pizza on there when available?
We can consider putting anything on that menu, and it will rotate occasionally, sure.
We do touch on guests. I have family nearby, and it's not, I usually have a guest or two every month. Am I going to have to take your credit card to pay for there, since it's not part of my declining account?
It can be an ancillary charge on your account. It doesn't have to be a credit card payment. So they'll pay whatever's on the menu, and if you want that to be billed to your account, we can do that. So it's not a credit card.
I'm still not understanding, because earlier I thought you said guests could not be part of the declining balance.
Correct, but it can be charged as an ancillary charge to your account.
Thank you.
I have a point.
This is Penny again. On a positive note, I think this is great. And I think we're all going to be healthier. I don't think we're going to be gaining weight. I think we're going to be losing weight. We're not going to have cookies. No, we're not. We're not going to have cookies and ice cream and whipping cream because you know what? We have to pay for the cookie. We have to pay for the ice cream. So we're going to make really good choices and consequently we're going to be healthier. And one last thing, a comment, is could we have calories? Somehow, your buddy here wants to know. And I think it's going to be great.
I think you've done a great job of answering all these questions, but I have the feeling that we're wandering off into the weeds, and I think we need to close it up.
Well, and so keep in mind, we have a few months left to answer all of your questions. And please take the opportunity to attend your floor meeting. If you can't attend the date that your floor is scheduled, attend whatever meeting you want to attend. They're all going to be in apartment 332. And we'll be answering questions until the end of the year and probably beyond. We have to raffle up these prizes.
We need to wrap up the prizes, but also you are going to get this via email for those of you that check email. If you want to start looking at the prices and the totals and you're kind of doing some calculations or getting stuck, you have questions, please reach out to me via email, stop by the office. You can see Pamela, and then we'll have the paper presentations available tomorrow.
So good morning, everybody. I see a lot of the same faces I saw yesterday afternoon. You're just making sure we say the same thing today. Welcome. Yeah, we just need a little, maybe one more time to soak it all in because it's a lot of information. Want to just say welcome. We do have everybody has a ticket, so we have 2 gift baskets up here we're going to raffle off at the end because we know bribes work here at Freedom Plaza. Okay. I'm going to just sort of do some opening comments. Teresa is going to talk to you about the heart of this program because she's the expert. So the one thing I will say is if I've answered any questions about IRDs for you, I gave you the complete wrong information. So Teresa will give you the correct information when she comes up today. So I apologize for that. Also, we're going to ask that you hold your questions until the end. Let Teresa get through everything. I'm going to come in and wrap up the presentation with some information, and then we'll answer all the questions that you have. I know the presentation went out via email yesterday with my memo, and I know some of the slides are hard to read. So we're going to figure out a way to fix that so you can see the entire slide in the hard copy version. And the last thing I'll say is that not next week, but the following week, you should have gotten the schedule with the memo yesterday. We're going to start the floor meetings again. And the whole focus of those floor meetings is going to be to continue answering your questions about the preferred dining program. Chef, Teresa, myself will be at all the meetings. We'll also answer any other questions you have as well, but I know this is going to be top of mind and you're going to want to understand how this is all going to work. And so right up front, our timeline for this is we hope to roll this out on January 1st. So we have 3 months to answer questions, make some adjustments where we need to make adjustments. And I really think overall it's going to be a great addition to dining for Freedom Plaza. So I do have one introduction to make before Teresa gets started. We do have John Petrangelo here today. He is our Senior Director of Dining Services for LCS, and he's the one making us do this. No, I'm just kidding. It is actually a great program. All of our portfolio communities are doing it, and they're doing it in communities all across the country. So I worked in this business for 23 years, and some of my old communities that I worked with have already implemented this type of dining program. It just gives a lot of choice and lets you pick where and what you want to eat every day. So with that, I'm going to call Teresa up.
Good morning. How many of you were here yesterday? Oh, we got a few. That's nice. Okay. So as we've been talking for the last couple of months about moving on to the preferred choice dining program, we have done a lot of different things to get ready for this. As I've talked in town hall, we've talked about how we've had international nights on Thursday to get us set up for when we make these changes to dining. And now we're going to show you the proposal for each one of our dining revenues dining areas that you can dine in. So we're going to go over each concept: the pub concept, buffet, a la carte dining, which is in the Williamsburg Tea Rose Nile, and then the Jade when the Maui buffet is closed. The American Grill, Angie's going to come back up and talk about declining balance, off-campus credits, and we already kind of told you about the proposed rollout date, which is going to be January of 2024. It's a lot of information in this slide, and there are some things that are going to be difficult to see. So, because I had to turn things into PDFs and whatnot, but I'm going to walk you through it. First concept is going to be our pub concept, and we're going to have handhelds and extended hours in the pub, which, if you remember last year, we went through an entire survey about the pub to see what you would like in it. 75% of our residents prefer to have a sports bar atmosphere, not a more of a fine dining pub. So that's the route that we are taking. So if you look at this, and I just like to point out the name, the Regal Eagle, even though we haven't picked a name yet. I am a big Three's Company fan and like the Regal Beagle, so I kind of picked that name, but that's not sticking. But I like to put it out there in case you want to be on my team and say that would be a great name. So the pub concept, we're going to have a sports atmosphere in there. We're going to change the hours of operation. We're going to do Monday through Saturday, 1 to 7. Seating in the pub is going to be first come, first serve. You do not need to make reservations. With that being said, just like if you go to any other restaurant during a peak time, if it's full, you're going to need to look for another venue to eat in. Takeout will be available in the pub. A la carte pricing similar to the grill. And the sample menu and sample pricing is attached. So if you look at the items that we put on this menu, we really went for more of a pub style type of food, and we kind of elevated a little bit. Chef Jamie comes from the outside sector. He had actually been on a show, Bar Impossible, so he knows how to go in and kind of take some bars and pubs and refine them and make them different and fun. But if it's a little too elevated for all of you, then we can also bring it down a notch. That's why we have 3 months to play around with this. We will have a happy hour in the pub once we get a liquor license and we're charging. But we are going to do a lot of other things. We want to collaborate with resident programs to hold viewing parties for specific games. We want to do some fun like beer clubs and wine flights, and maybe during Cinco de Mayo do a nice tequila flight. I mean, I will tell you I'll Uber home that day, but we're going to have fun doing it. So I think that with the pub concept, this is the easiest and the smallest of all of our concepts to kind of wrap our head around. But this is something that we knew was coming as of last year. When we do roll this out, we will be rolling out in phases because it is such a huge overhaul to our dining room. I do anticipate that the pub will be the first thing that will roll out to you, and then we'll follow with the next 30 days with the rest of the concepts. So our next concept, our buffet concept. One price, all courses included, self-serve. So the buffet concept is going to encompass both the Maui and the Jade. The buffet now is only going to be open on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Of course, Sunday brunch as well. And they will be open for dinner Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We'll have salad, soup service, themed meals exclusively in the buffet. International night now moves to the buffet. Picnic, seasonal, and prime rib. So prime rib is now going to be exclusively in the buffet on Wednesday nights. So no longer will it be in the regular dining room. If you would like to choose prime rib, you'll go into the buffet. The buffet is going to be self-serve, as you saw in the memo yesterday. We're getting back to pre-COVID times where we are self-serving. We're already doing that with our soups. And we will have desserts in there. It's one price for all the items listed, and takeout is not available from the buffet. That's the only place takeout is not going to be available from. Now, also with the buffet, it's going to be one price. So when we get in, we talk about dollars and cents, we'll go through, and then I'll back up to the buffet just to talk about the pricing for that. Sunday meal service. We are moving to work, at post-COVID, in order to get residents back into the dining room. We needed to try to do something where we can accommodate those that were not comfortable coming into the dining room and those that were ready to come in. And because our break was about 50-50, we couldn't continue to pack up each in-room dining bag and also serve those that wanted to come down. So for the period of time, I think it's been about a year now, we have been doing our in-room dining pickups off the buffet. Now that we're going to be opening additional concepts and we're changing the flow of dining and how often we are open, we're giving more hours of open dining venues, we are going to pack up in-room dining again, and we are no longer going to have that pickup. So Sundays are going to change because the only pickup on Sunday will be available in the grill. But our service time for Sunday brunch will be 10:30 to 1:30, reservations only. So we moved it back to 10:30 because we have a lot of residents that are waiting in line. Now, if you wait in line at 10 o'clock, I'm not going to reopen at 10 o'clock, but from 10:30 to 1:30 is our peak time. We do on average 100 residents in the dining room for Sunday brunch. So it doesn't warrant us to open up any longer in the length of time. So when we made the shift from 11:30 to 10:30, we are going to close a little bit earlier. But we're going to adjust the grill opening back to 2 o'clock so that you can make up any meals or decline your dollars down by getting items out of the general store or however you choose in the grill. In addition to the regular Sunday brunch that we do have, we are going to have made to order items through the kitchen. So you can order those through your server, and these are subject to change, but some items that we're looking at is like week 1, we'll do stuffed French toast, which will, be stuffed with seasonal fruits and cream cheese and just yummy. Jamie's gonna probably as we get closer to this, we're gonna do a food form, and we're gonna do some samples of the items that we're going to be releasing on these menus so you can kind of taste them and get a visual as well. Week 2 will be pancakes, all different types of pancakes, banana, walnut, strawberry, regular, blueberry. Eggs Benedict on week 3, and then omelets, week 4. So this is really what you came to hear about, right? The premier dining in our Williamsburg, Tea Rose, Nile, and Jade when the Maui is closed is a la carte pricing. It's a 2-week cycle menu, and takeout boxes are included. So that's a cool thing, right? So no more do you have to say to your server, hey, just sneak me like 5 cookies. I'm just gonna take those. It's like, if you're paying for it, you can take it back with you. So premier dining concept. We've looked at our resident participation and where residents are eating at currently. We do not have a crystal ball, so things will change based on your participation. But this is what we're gonna open with. Lunch hours, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 1. We are shifting back 1 hour because we're not really getting the participation between 1 and 2. We're really not. There's nothing coming in. So we thought if we did it a little bit earlier, you might want to come in. And at 1 o'clock, remember, we do have the pub opening. So there is a concept for those that do want to eat a little bit later. Dinner, we are going to shift back opening to 4 o'clock because if you come down between 3:45 and 4, you will see a line of up to 50 residents standing there waiting for the doors to open. I'd like to alleviate that. So we're thinking that may be the case, unless all of you that stand in line now will stand in line at 3:15, then I don't know what I can do. Like if I see a line, I just go the other way. Here, I feel like everybody just gets in the line. Can't finish a meal? That's fine. We're gonna box it up for you. A la carte pricing, we're gonna have a 2-week menu choice, like a 2-week menu cycle. So what that means is your menu is gonna start, we have 14 days that we're gonna roll it, the same menu. But on this menu, we'll have 10 to 14 daily selections. These selections will remain the same for 2 weeks. Sunday brunch will be a separate menu. So you're really looking at the exact same menu for 12 days. So if there's 14 selections on that menu, then you have 12 days to either choose one of them every single day, or you have your favorites and you're like, oh, I'm so glad lasagna's here because I'll eat that every other day. We also will have a chef special based on availability. And I like to break this down a little bit for you. So say we have an event down at the Plaza Club. And the menu was lamb chops, and we had to order in like 3 cases of lamb chops, so we really only needed 2.5 cases of lamb chops. So now we have these additional lamb chops that we want to now present and say, hey, we have this as a chef special. But we may only have 40 portions of that. Chef specials will be available dinner service only, and we will have a limited selection or limited supply of that. So we'll have 40 options. I'm just throwing it out there. It may be 60, maybe 40, maybe 20. And then once we sell through those for the evening, then it's not available. And it wouldn't be something that was available, you know, like the next day. So we'll also have home style selections, because for everybody that wants to experience new and exciting things with food, there are residents that say, I just want something like real simple. I want home style food. I want meatloaf, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, country fried steak. I can see you shaking your head, right? But then on the flip side, it's I would like to have, you know, veal piccata or, you know, steak Oscar. So then we'll have items from the sea: fish, seafood, land, chicken, turkey, beef, pork. And then we're also going to keep the bowls on. A majority of you do like to eat health consciously, and the bowls are a lot of times a lighter option for you. And then we'll have our daily sides. Okay, this is a little overwhelming because it is very small. I see we're taking pictures, but you're going to be able to get this via email, and Stephanie is going to send it out. I have somebody with a tablet up here that's going through with her tablet. If you have gotten a copy, you can look at it. This is what an actual menu will look like. I mean, we gotta put some bells and whistles on it, make it look a little prettier, and you'll be able to read it, I promise. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through this once I figure out my little point clicker. I'm gonna bring this home to my cat. Anybody yesterday I said I was gonna do that? I did. She loves it. My husband not so much, because I kept putting it on him and she was like jumping up on him, but you know, I needed something to de-stress from yesterday. So what will happen is we'll have 4 cycle menus, right? And each one of these cycles will last for 2 weeks. This is one menu, and this menu you would see every day for 2 weeks. But there's when you break it down, there's a lot of selections on there. So if you start on the left side of the menu, and I know a lot of you can't see that, so I'm gonna kind of transcribe it for you. We're gonna start with salads. We have 2 side salads every day on the menu. On this menu particularly, we have a tomato cucumber salad. The price is $2, and then we have our plaza salad. Price is $4. Entree salads. This is something that you can make a meal out of. So for those of you that want a light meal for dinner, come down and have a Cobb salad. It's $10 for a Cobb salad. You know how large our salads are. Portion sizes will remain the same on salads. We do give a hefty portion. If you can't eat it all, then take half of it home. That's fine. That's $10. We're offering a lot more dressings now. We heard you. You wanted to see fat-free dressings, sugar-free dressings, and regular dressings, so we will have those available on the menu. If a dressing isn't selling and it's not something that you all prefer and you'd like to see something else, we can change those out. Soups. So we'll have 2 soups every day, Monday through Friday, in the dining room, as we always have. We have our weekly. On this particular menu, it's chicken noodle. And then we'll have our soup of the day, which will be a different soup. The only thing that changes is currently we do 1 soup on Sundays. We're going to keep that. But on Saturdays, we're also going to keep 1 soup. The reason being is Saturdays and Sundays are the lowest attended meal services during the week, because we do have a good portion of our residents on the 21-day plan. So what we're going to do is focus on really the sauces, the consistency, and the execution of the actual meals going out on those days, and offer that 1 soup. We have bowls. Under the bowls it says choice of soup or salad. So you're going to get, with one of these bowls, the first one is a Southwest chicken bowl. You have the choice of getting a bowl for $14 or a boat, which is a smaller portion, for $12. You also get a choice of a soup or a salad with that. All of the bowls are priced as a full bowl or a half bowl. And the prices are according, like they come down a couple bucks for the boat versus the bowl. And they all come with a choice of soup or salad. If you would like to have soup and salad with it, you're going to pay the additional cost on the soup. Come over to the right side. We have our 3 large mains. We have our C. Each one of these meal items on this side are going to come with a choice of soup or salad and 2 sides. Just like it is in a mainstream restaurant, it's going to be like that here. So, first one, bruschetta salmon. That is at $17. It's a 6-ounce piece of salmon. We have increased our portion sizes on our proteins, and you have your choice of soup or salad and 2 sides. We have scallops Mornay for this particular rotation, and that is at $36. It's very high, but you have to look at market. For years, we've been coming down, and we've been eating at $7.50. And if you come down and you only eat on Wednesdays and Fridays, and you get the prime rib and the tenderloin, you're making out. Because you know as well as I do, we can't go to any restaurant and get a meal for $7.50, right? That's tenderloin and prime rib. Now I can go to Taco Bell, but I can't get much these days either there. Just ask my kids. And then we have crab cakes. So we tried to make sure that we have something that everyone likes, the salmon. Now the salmon is prepared like a bruschetta salmon. Yesterday in the meeting, we had a lot of comments on can we still do the choice of blackened and grilled and whatnot, and that's gonna be easy. We're gonna add that on, that's easy. We didn't know if that was gonna be, you know, something that we really needed to do, but y'all brought it up, so we're gonna make that change immediately. And then I'm gonna go over here to land. We have a chicken marsala. The chicken marsala is $12, and you get a choice of soup side and soup, salad, or 2 sides. We have herb roasted chicken quarters. That's again coming in at $12. We have a center cut pork chop, and that has a mango and sour cherry reduction. That is $18. That's going to be a 6-ounce center cut pork chop. We have a grilled filet of beef. That's going to be a 6-ounce portion as well, and it's going to be grilled and served with béarnaise. If you do not like béarnaise sauce, you can get the béarnaise on the side if you want to just dip, or if you do not want it, you don't have to have it. That is going to be $20. In this particular rotation, we have smoked pork ribs for a half rack. It's $20. Again, soup or salad, 2 sides. Then come over to home style. Same premise, or same thing with home style. You get the choice of soup or salad and 2 sides. 3 items that we have on there are the open face roast beef sandwich. That comes in at $12. Chicken tenders and waffles, $15. And the kibasi and sauerkraut come in at $11. On the bottom, you'll see sides. So for a 2-week rotation, you're going to have 16 different sides that you can choose from. We do know, as of yesterday, we make note that we're a little starch heavy, and we need to probably be a little veg heavy on that versus the starch. But for this specific week, we have steamed Yukon potatoes, a baked sweet potato, mashed potatoes, rice pilaf, and onion rings. And then we go over to the veg, where we have sauteed spinach and garlic, grilled asparagus, glazed carrots, sauteed onions, and french fries. That should really be a vegetable there. Then we have cold salads as well. 3-bean salad, cottage cheese, applesauce, macaroni salad, and then fresh fruit. And our fresh fruit is right here under the sides, as every day we'll have a different fresh fruit on. You can intermix your sides. You can add an additional side. If you would like fresh fruit for dessert and you would just like a side of fruit, that's going to be a $2 charge. If you are like, you know, I just really want my protein tonight and I would love to have the sauteed spinach and garlic, and then I'll just have my fruit, then you're just paying the regular price of the actual entree because you're making that choice and getting 2 sides. I will take questions after. I will be getting to that in the next slide. It's $510. $510. So the next slide will be desserts. So as you know, on the previous slide, you do not have anything that has desserts on it. You can mix and match for those that do not eat desserts, which we know that isn't not an option for everyone, but for some it is. We are going to be doing, oh, sorry. Ooh, hit the wrong button. There we go. We are going to be doing fruit pies, frosted cakes, and cupcakes at $2 for each, you know, if you choose to get a dessert. Or specialty desserts, cheesecake will have available daily at $3, dessert of the day, and seasonal selection at $5. And reason being for that are those are going to be larger, on the larger scale. The cheesecakes, something similar to like a Cheesecake Factory, it's going to have a lot of nice garnish. You come down to the dining room and you're like, gosh, I'd really just like to take a dessert home tonight. You can do that. If you have money left over and money to burn because you didn't come down for 3 days because maybe you had some doctor's appointments or went out with friends, that's a good opportunity to utilize that money. Ice cream, each scoop is $1. We do an ice cream sundae at $3, banana split at $5, and cookies are $1. Buffets will have smaller dessert items on the buffet. Desserts from the kitchen will result in additional charges. So when you go to the buffet, going back to talking about the buffet, everything is presented to you, and we do have cookies in the buffet. We will have smaller desserts in the buffet. When you eat in the buffet, dessert is kind of like an afterthought for some. I mean, I usually go to the desserts first, but that's me. So, there will be ample amounts, and we will have a lot of different selections, but we will be switching those out through the days. So, when I was putting this together, I spoke with a lot of residents, and I wanted to take 3 specific types of residents and how they eat in the dining room, and I wanted to go through how you can spend down your daily balance. So, we're going to go through 3 residents. This is resident A. They eat an average of 4 days a week. They don't really care for most of the menu options. They leave a lot of money on the table at the end of the month. They enjoy prime ribs, scallops, higher end items. So we're looking at a 4-day, that they're gonna come down for 4 days, because all these options have a choice of a soup, salad, and come with 2 sides. So for this resident in particular, this is what they would eat. On night 1, they would get a filet with béarnaise sauce for $20. Then they would get dessert, they would get a pie. Night 2, crab cakes. Dessert, ice cream sundae. On night 3, center cut pork chop, and then cookies. On night 4, scallops mornay, and then they're going to skip dessert that night because that's a really rich dinner. So the total of the week is $104 out of $510, leaving $422 left to spend for the month. Explain it again. So if you have $510 for that month, you're adding up everything that you're eating during the week. It comes to a total of $104. So you subtract that from your $510, and you get $422 now left to spend for the remainder of the month. Resident B eats daily in the main dining room only. Likes a mix between high-end and home style. So if you see on here, this resident in particular is going to eat 7 days. So on night 1, we're going to get that filet again. We're going to also get dessert. On night 2, we're going to eat a little lighter. We're going to have the Cobb salad, a cup of soup, and an ice cream sundae. Night 3, Southwest chicken bowl. You're going to get a choice of a super salad with that, and then you're going to get dessert. This resident wanted to get 2 cookies. Probably took them to go. Night 4, smoked ribs. Choice of super salad and 2 sides with that. Dessert, they got pie. Night 5, open face roast beef Sammy. Ate off the home style side. They had their choice of their cup of soup or salad and 2 sides. They skipped dessert that night. Night 6, bruschetta salmon. Same thing, super salad, choice of sides, pie for dessert. On night 7, kibasi and dessert pie. For this week, $118 was the total out of $510, leaving $392 left to spend for the remainder of the month. So that's 7 days. All right, resident C. Active lifestyle, prefers to eat in the pub, Maui, and grill, only in the main dining room 2 times a week. Day 1, we're going to start with that filet again, with béarnaise and a dessert. Day 2, they're going to go to the Maui buffet. Maui buffet, all inclusive, $17. So if you divide your $510 into your 30 days, $17 is what you had to spend kind of on a daily basis. If you ate in the buffet every day, you would be able to get that meal every month, or a meal every single day. If you eat something like a Cobb salad that's $10, then you're gonna have money left on the table to get a breakfast sandwich in the grill the next day. Day 3, that's what they did. Went to the grill for a breakfast Sammy, and then they decided they wanted to go back to the grill for lunch and get the daily special. On day 4, they wanted to check out the pub because there was a game on or a golf tournament, so they had tuna poke nachos and cookies. Day 5, back into the dining room, bruschetta salmon, choice of super salad, 2 sides, and dessert. They had pie. Day 6, we're going back to the Maui buffet, getting an ice cream sundae for dessert in the buffet, because ice cream in the buffet will be an additional charge because it's whatever is on the buffet, the desserts that you're serving that night, that would be included in the price. And then on Saturday, or on day 7, back to the grill for a club sandwich and a drink. Total for this week is $110.25 out of $510, leaving $399.75 left to spend for the remainder of the month. So I know there are other residents that I probably didn't touch upon in this breakdown, but I tried to look at, as I spoke with each and every one of you on what your eating habits were, what you would like to see, there are a lot of different ways that you can swing this. You're given one lump sum of money, you can spend it any way that you would choose. The idea is that you don't have money left on the table at the end of the month. And that's where the grill is gonna come into play. So this is fast casual and general store. So we're very lucky here. We have one of the nicest, I think, and I think the whole community is the best community, right? We all do. But I think our general store, we do have a lot to offer in there. We've had some struggles post-COVID getting things in, but I like to say, I don't know how many of you saw that we do have half gallons of milk in the grill now. So, and we are seeing that we have like half gallons of orange juice and lemonade. And we do have 2 different vendors that we work with. One is Vistar that brings in a lot of prepackaged items, sundry items, as well as chips, candies. We also provide you with Coke products as well. And we also have one other vendor called Grab and Go. They're out of Hollywood, Florida, and we get the pre-made items, which you'll see they'll come in on Sunday because we're getting into that end of the month spend down, and they're very nice options for you to spend down your money. The hours of operation in the grill are going to change slightly, but nothing too terrible at the beginning. We're going to keep it Monday through Saturday, 7:30 to 1:30, but we're going to keep the general store open until 2. And that's subject to change based on participation, but it's based on participation. We've done this in the past. We've opened the grill till 7 o'clock at night. We switched it back to 6. We moved to 5. Everyone said, if it's at 4, I'll get something in the afternoon, but we're not seeing the participation. However, with the changes that we're making, if we see that there's a need, we will go back to the drawing board and look to opening it. On Sundays, we are going to shift back from 3 o'clock open time to 2, because remember, on Sundays, that is the only place you can get your in-room dining pickup for that day. The general store will be stocked with the following items to spend down your balances: sodas, juice, milk, butter, eggs, grab-and-go items, your pre-made salads, sandwiches, snack packs, yogurt, pudding, fruit, candy, chips, and nuts. The only thing that is not available to spend down on your declining balance are the sundry items. Toilet paper, tissues, Tums, whatever else they have in there. So let's talk about takeout or in-room dining. Medical in-room dining is not being addressed in this. For those that are on medical in-room dining deliveries, which is handled through Lisa and Sherry, we will continue to do something very, very similar for those residents. For residents that choose not to sit down and eat in the dining rooms or any one of our venues during the day, this is now how in-room dining will work. Grill is always an option, 7 days a week. As we just spoke, Monday through Saturday, 7:30 to 1:30, and Sunday now, 2 to 6. Only pickup option is on Sunday. The pub. Stop in, grab a drink, order a meal for takeout. Remember, the pub is now open Monday through Saturday. And we're saying that if you're not coming down to eat in the dining room, our light hours, like where we're not going to see as much participation, are going to be between the hours of 1 and 4. So that's going to be Monday through Saturday. Same thing with formal dining. I call it formal dining. It's the a la carte dining. Anything off of the menus that are going out in the Williamsburg, T. Rose, Nile, and Jade when the Maui is closed. Same thing. You can order through the Full Count portal, or we will have a host sitting there all day with the menu sitting there, and when you come in, you can order through the host. The host will put the order in. She knows how busy the kitchen is and may say, come back in 20 minutes, come back at this time. It's gonna work just like a restaurant. Buffet concept. Takeout will not be available from the buffet. So that's the one thing that we are definitely changing. I did have a note under my door today that they asked for me to present this at this meeting. That when we go to this plan, the concern of this specific resident, who name unknown, said that they were concerned that everybody would go into the buffet and just take all the food from the buffet because of this program. Well, we need to police each other on that. I'm not gonna stand out there with a taser and a badge and say you can't come into the dining room anymore because you took a cookie. but I think that we're old enough to like understand why we probably shouldn't be doing that. So I would like to think those that are going into the buffet see the value of going into the buffet versus, you know, for them, so that would not happen. But I think we're all laughing because we know what's going to happen, right? I mean, I could do one of two things. I could be the director of dining, or I can stand there like Barney Fife. It's up to you. You let me know. There are a lot of things discussed on this, right? We are going to be talking about this more and more. You are going to get this, or have already got it and possibly looked at it via email. We are going to do Q&As after Angie gets up here. But the one thing I do need you to know, I've been here for 16 years, right? We've been through a lot of different things. We've been through the renovation of the kitchen that was supposed to take 6 weeks and took, 6 months? And then we opened up the day before COVID, and then we were closed down again. And then I promised you I would open the dining rooms, and it was one of the first communities to open dining rooms. And I promised you we were gonna get back to pre-COVID as best that we can in the current state of everything, but I think we all know pre-COVID is something that's always gonna be pre-COVID, and we have post-COVID, and we have to make these changes. But never have I given you anything or made any changes to the dining room that I said, well, nope, that's it, we're not gonna discuss it any longer. If we hit a roadblock, if we've stubbed our toe and said, gosh, this is not working for the majority of our residents, we're gonna go back to the drawing board and we're gonna give some additional options and we're gonna make some changes. Change is tough for all of us. This is very tough and very indifferent for all of you. It is the same for the team in the kitchen. Think about it. We have a kitchen with 6 dining rooms around it that we're serving the same menu out of. And now we need to serve 3 different menus out of the same kitchen, right? So it's not all gloom and doom and woe for us. I mean, obviously we're opening things at specific times to make sense for the team, but we also want to make sure that we are going to be able to give you the best possible meal that we can every single time coming out of the gate, right? So it's going to take a lot of communication on both sides for us to make this work. We know that there are a lot of questions. We know that you're going to probably think about something next week and you have this question. Email me, stop by my office, let's chat about it. If you hear a rumor, listen, I just gave the presentation yesterday afternoon. I haven't had time to talk to anybody else. Plus, I left really quickly last night intentionally, just in case. And I came in this morning to about 6 rumors that I had to say, well, if it didn't come from me, it's not happening, so rest assured. Please let us know what you're hearing in the pipe. It's kind of like telephone, so you know we can address that immediately. So I'm going to give it back to Angie, and then we'll follow up with Q&As. So I'm going to talk a little bit more specifically about the declining balance. So Teresa said everybody gets $510 a month. And so one of the questions that came up yesterday that we didn't have an answer for, but we have an answer for now, is that going to change based on the number of days in the month? No. So it's $510 a month, whether there's 31 days, 28 days, 30 days. So it's $510 a month. And what we are offering is what we call the 75% plan. So if you choose to go with the 75% plan, you will get $383 a month. You will continue to receive the same credit of $41 that you receive now for the 21 meal plan under that 75% plan. We are going to stagger the billing cycles, and I think I talked about that in a town hall meeting at some point in the last few months, because I know everybody dreads the 30th or the 31st of the month trying to go down to the grill to buy 12 scones and, 4 cookies and 3 pizzas and the lines out the door. This will alleviate that big rush on the grill at the end of the month. So we are going to break you all up into 5 different groups. One group will end on the 5th of the month, one will end on the 10th, one will end on the 15th, one will end on the 20th, and one will end on the 25th. I don't know exactly which groups will be in what cycle yet, but once we determine that, we'll share that information. The other thing I did mention yesterday and got some good feedback on, initially we were going to say, if you pick the 75% plan, then you're in the 75% plan. You can always switch to the full plan, but it's a one-time deal.
or if you go into the full plan, you're in the full plan. What we are gonna do is, we don't know what the time frame is, but I think we're gonna be like 3 to 6 months, where you all, if you wanna start with a 75% plan and then think, I wanna go to the full plan, we'll give you ample time to figure out which plan makes more sense for you. And then lastly, our off-campus credits or medical meal credits will continue as they are today. So my understanding is to get a medical meal credit or an off-campus credit, you have to be gone at least 7 consecutive days. And then we have to make sure you didn't make up those meals. So the story I told was years ago, we used to give your meal credits to you ahead of time. You'd fill out an off-campus form and say, I'm gonna be gone these 2 weeks because I'm going on a cruise or whatever the case may be. So we would give you those meal credits ahead of time, and then you'd all make up the meals on the other 14 days of the month that you were here. So we got smart, and we wait until the end of the month, and we look at what balance you have left over. So if you have been gone those consecutive days and you did not make up your meals, you will continue to receive the same medical meal credit that we give today. So that will not change. And then the last slide, Teresa, I did mention this in the beginning. Our floor meetings start October 3rd. So this schedule went out yesterday with the memo, and Teresa, Chef, and I will be at every single meeting, and we will answer all your questions about preferred dining. We have 3 whole months to answer questions and explain things and maybe tweak things that you suggest that make a lot of sense. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities to talk through this because we know it's a big change, but I honestly think you all are going to really like it because it's going to give you a whole lot more flexibility when it comes to dining. And so now it's time for you to ask your questions. We have a group of folks coming around with microphones.
Okay, my question is, let's say you're at the end of your financial pivot, you run out of money. How does that affect what options are available to you?
So if you run out of your declining balance, which I think is going to be a stretch to do, but if you do, you are just charged based on the price that is on the menu. Oh.
If you're taking advantage of lifetime care that's in your contract and you run out of money that way, are you going to be restricted in what you can get?
No, the dining plan stays the same for everybody, regardless of their status.
I have 2 questions. One, could we have more vegetarian meals, a selection? Could we have 1 vegetarian meal on that varied menu? The times that you do have vegetarian meals, they've been wonderful. People really want, a lot of us want to eat a lot of less meat. So that would be really great if you could do that. I forgot what the other question was. That's because I'm 83.
So as far as the vegetarian, vegan, or pescatarian option, we have those things available on a nightly basis, and we will have a disclaimer at the bottom of the menu that says if you would like a vegan or vegetarian option prepared for you, please communicate with your server, and chef will do that based on availability of what we have in the kitchen. Reason being is that when we do put these items on the menu, they seem to not be heavily picked as the main meal, so it kind of skews the numbers that come in, but we always can prepare a meal for you on the fly that evening.
Okay. The other question was, how is this going? This is going. Just a statement, really. This is going to be really difficult for groups. I can just see that now. Where do you want to eat now? Now, do you want to eat here? Can you eat here? It's going to be tough for us too.
Well, I think with that, I mean, it's kind of like if I want to go to dinner with my husband and he wants to go to like Outback and I want to go to Chili's, like we're not splitting up. I mean, I'd like to sometimes. I mean, I trust me. I'm like, hey, just pick me up. I'm at the bar. But you know, I think that it's just kind of relearning like how you're going to eat on a nightly basis. If you know, somebody in your group really wants to eat in a pub that day, hey, I'm gonna take one for the team and go to the pub, but then you gotta come back to me to, the other side of the dining room to eat. So it will change some things, but sometimes change can be good and it'll spice some things up, so.
That's okay, you can hear me. You have
I don't know.
We'll repeat it. So beverages, beverages are included. So your non-alcoholic beverages are included, and so is bread. Okay, non-alcoholic.
How will we deal with guests and pricing for guests and charging for guests?
Guests do not come off of your declining balance. Guests are charged ancillary. You can charge with your credit card or you can charge it to your room. And it will be the cost on the menu. There may be a percentage increase on that cost. We don't know. We're still working through that.
Teresa?
We got a question here.
Hold on, I have a question over here and then you're up, Mr. Montana.
I have several questions.
Okay.
Okay, this is basic. You may be answered, but I have to ask it again. Number one, picking up food at the buffet, how much is that gonna be?
We're not gonna be picking up food at the buffet any longer. The buffet is not gonna be an option for pickup. Pickup is going to be depending on the menu that you choose to pick up from, and the prices are allocated for each menu option.
I pick up on Sunday, or if I pick up sometimes between Monday and Saturday, how do I determine when I come down, where do I go? Like normally on Sunday, used to stand and pick up between 10 and 11 in the morning on Sundays to take upstairs. And then on Monday through Saturday, it used to be like 3:30 to 4:30. So what do we do if we want to bring our food upstairs? Where do we go?
So on Sundays, the pickup option would be in the American Grill from 2 to 6. So you would go to the grill during that time. That is the only area for pickup on Sundays. Monday.
What time between grills will be what time?
2 to 6. And we will get this information out to you, Rochelle. We'll do that prior to us rolling this out. And then Monday through Sunday, 1 to 4. Monday through Saturday, 1 to 4. But we are going to be getting this information out to you.
And then I choose where I want to get my food?
Yes, you can choose the pub or the main dining room.
What do I do, stand in line and then go in there, or put in an order?
You can use your full count to put the order in. If you do not, there will be a hostess at the hostess stand that can take your order and let you know when to come back and what time to come back for your meal, depending on how busy the kitchen is.
So it's not that we're standing in line anymore?
Right.
No more lines, like?
Yeah, we're trying to alleviate that, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Montana.
I've got a couple questions. First of all, will the declining balance be carried over to another time?
No.
Okay. And if we go out with a couple, like a lot of times we go out with a couple, and one couple wants the buffet and the other couple wants dining, how do we handle that?
I think I just answered that. You have to make a decision. You're either sitting with a group or you're kind of saying everybody's gonna go to the buffet or everyone's gonna go to the dining room.
And the third question is, since there's a difference in the allocation between 510 and the 75%, how does that reflect on our monthly service bill?
So it's going to be the equivalent of what it does now. So if you're on the 21 meal plan, you get a credit of $41, and that will stay the same if you select a 75% plan under preferred dining.
Thank you.
Okay, my question is the reservation system. We're gonna have to revise the reservation system because you're gonna have to know where you want to go, to the pub, which is a walk-in, so it wouldn't be, but the main dining or buffet.
Yes, and we are working on that right now, and we actually have created a lot of that, but it's not turned on for you to see. So what will happen is the only area that you need to have reservations is that during the formal dining, the Williamsburg, Nile, Tea Rose, and Jade if the pub is, or Maui is closed. The Maui is going to be first come, first serve, and so is the pub.
So if everybody comes down at 4 o'clock, you're gonna have a long line waiting to get into the buffet, if you don't want to do buffet.
Well, I mean, if everyone comes down at 4:30 now, we still have a long line,
Yeah,
so
but
we're
they're all
trying to
going to
alleviate it.
different dining rooms.
Right.
So if they all want to do the buffet, because they're at their.
But will they? We don't know, and we only have the buffet open Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
So, I mean, we don't know what we do not know, right? So we have thought about scenarios and what we can do to make changes to that to accommodate during that night, but we have to see what the participation is going to be. Knee-jerk reactions from this presentation are going to be different than what you actually do in 3 months, and you understand a little bit more fully, and we've made maybe some changes to make it a little bit of a softer change, but we do have some scenarios in our back pocket to try to help with that flow.
Okay, my second thing is, I see a big headache with finance in the credits if you're gone for over 7 days. And if you're on the difference between the 5, 10, 15, 25, different, what I was saying.
So we're gonna set up a meeting, Teresa, myself, Dennis, and Sam, and we're gonna work through that. We know it's gonna be, I think the initial setup is gonna be a little tedious, but I think once we have it all set up and get it rolling, it shouldn't be much different than it is today.
Teresa, I would like to commend you on the presentation. You obviously spent a lot of time on it. I also have a question with regard to the pub food. Like the first one you have on here is disco fries, which is crispy flat fries with gravy. I mean, that is not a pub food. Are you gonna have things like chicken quesadilla, pretzels with, say, warm beer cheese dip and things like that? Because the kind of things that you've listed there, I don't really consider a lot of those pub foods.
I'm trying to get back to it.
No, they have a patio.
They're illegal. So, look at I pressed it too many times. Okay. So there are items like the chicken lettuce wraps.
Right.
So chicken lettuce wraps is something we ran in the dining room. Is that not something you'd like to see in the pub? I mean, we can go through pub by pub, line by line, but I think you can also email me and let me know what you'd like to see. I see that we can actually work through this menu a little bit, but I will say that if something is available on the grill, like a Reuben, I'm not putting it in the pub. Because you go to the grill to get like an omelet or a Reuben, and you'll go to the pub to get something a little different. However, quesadillas, where you would see that show up, would be on our international nights and our Mexican nights in the buffet. So we would have those options. But it doesn't mean that that's not something that we can put on the pub menu
Well,
as
you
well.
didn't have, Teresa, when you had the Mexican meal, you did not have.
We didn't for that one, but the
No.
one coming up that we have in 2 weeks, you will see it'll be on there.
Okay, but you are open to other ideas.
Absolutely we are.
Okay, I'd like to see some pulled pork sliders and things like that.
Okay, thank you. That's a great, Pam, are you scribing for us so you can get that down? Pamela's writing that down. Thank you. Good comment, Carol. I appreciate that.
Teresa?
Yes.
Two things. One, a minor one. I think it's a typo. The floor meetings, 4D and E aren't on there, but 4B and C are on there twice.
No, they're coming twice in D's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second question, Frank wanted me to ask this about BYOB. Is that still legal?
Yes.
You're welcome.
How do you think I get through my day at work? I'm kidding.
Question.
Yes.
You've been able to handle people with allergies in the past by talking with the server. Is that going to still be the same case? In other words, if you're in the dining room and you have my wife has an allergy to onions, is that still going to go through the server, or is that going to be any change there?
That'll still go through the server, and Chef is aware. We are all aware of that situation, and we are aware of a lot of the special diets that we do have, and that's a one-on-one basis, and yes, we will be able to accommodate.
I have a question here.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Basically, it's two questions. My wife and I are gone a lot, like 3 months in the fall and 3 months in the spring. So we're gonna come back, and over the next several months, you're going to explain things to people in different forums, but we're not gonna be here. we're coming back on the 3rd of January, right after this is implemented, so it's gonna, from our perspective, it's gonna be kind of chaotic. What would you recommend, what would we do to try and keep informed as best we can of what's going on?
Okay, when are you leaving?
On the 13th of October?
Well, why don't you come to one of the even if it's not your building, come to one of the floor meetings before that. That'll get you some additional information. But certainly, we can set up a time with you individually to kind of walk through it again when you get back, so it's not, you're not scrambling to figure out what to do on the 3rd when you return.
Okay, the other part of that question is the off-campus thing. You said that it's going to function the same way in the future as it does right now. So now I get reimbursed $4.10 a day for the days that I'm gone. And basically that's 6 months out of the year. But instead of $7.50 a meal, and you can reimburse me for $4.10, it's now $510 for a month. And I get back $4.10?
So I think the thing to keep in mind is your monthly fee isn't changing, just the declining balance amount is changing. So, and in theory, whether you choose the 75% plan or you're off campus and receive a credit, we look at that as more of a courtesy credit, because we don't have to offer credits at all, because when you all are not here or you're not eating meals, we still have the same number of servers, we still have the same number of cooks, we still buy the same amount of food. It's just something that we offer to folks when they are not here. So we are not changing the amount of that credit.
Okay, I'm just curious about, you mentioned the other communities that have already established some kind of similar concepts, and they're running. How long have the other communities been running this concept successfully?
So we were on a call, and John, you might be able to talk to this more, but people have been on it a long time, and the dining leadership and executive directors from those communities said, you know, it was a little bumpy the first few months, but they've been on it for a long period of time now, and it's going really, really, really smoothly. So this is a common program, and I think I appreciate the change that's involved, but I think as you get accustomed to how it works, you're going to see the benefits that come with it.
Angie?
Yes.
For the people who are on the 21-day plan right now, do we have to let someone know that we want to stay on the 21-day plan, or whether we want to go on the full
You know, we
plan?
haven't talked about that, but I say, you know, we'll assume that if you're on the 21 plan, you want to go to the 75% plan, and if you don't, then you let us know.
Otherwise, you stay as I am.
I've done, okay. I know in the past you've talked about food consistency, you know, about a particular food, and I've noticed that it really hasn't been up to par. So is that something you're going to continue?
Yeah, so the idea behind this type of program is to help us to gain that consistency. For instance, if I go on a cruise and I go on that cruise for 7 days and then I stay on it for the next 7 days, what was on that menu on the previous Monday is on the menu on the next Monday. So the crew knows how to cook that, they cook it, they're consistent with it. Same thing applies for this, where every day we're cooking every week, 42 different entrees, and sometimes, even though we are using menus, or recipes, we do have those in place now, there are things that aren't tightened up as they should be in the kitchen. Because we are every day coming in, and every day is a new day, and a new recipe, and maybe a different cook cooking it. So with this, we will have 2 weeks, 12 days to roll with this menu and really get the sauces and the cooks on these items to be a lot more consistent.
Yes.
back here. I have two quick questions. One is, first I want to say good luck.
Thanks.
I think it'll go well. I think it'll go well.
It's been fun. Nice knowing you. No.
It's a while for us to adjust, but it should work out.
Yeah, thanks.
One, are you gonna offer any lactose-free ice cream? Hopefully. Just keep it in mind. That doesn't have to answer now, but please keep it in mind. There's a lot of us that are allergic to dairy. Secondly, what is the difference between the meals that you're serving now at $7.50, say the salmons, the soup, the salad, the 2 veggies, the dessert, the whole schmear for $7.50, and you're gonna up it to $15 or $17? I know the interest is going up and I know food's going up. But when you're charging nickel and dime for everything, what's going on?
I'll start and then I'll pass. We're gonna shake and bake here with this one. So $7.50 has not and was not ever like a real amount of money that was like, this is what it costs to eat this meal. And as I touched on earlier, when you come down on the holidays and you have things like lamb chops, lobster tail, you have tenderloin every Friday, prime rib every Wednesday, it's almost like robbing Peter to pay Paul. So it's just like if you're shopping at your house and you have a budget and we're like, okay, we're gonna put these high-end items on, but then we're gonna have to follow it up by putting sloppy joes, meatloaf, and stuffed cabbage on because that's super cheap. So $7.50 was just an arbitrary number that we came up with and said $7.50 is one meal a day. So then, where we came up with this pricing is we priced it out based on what the actual price was. We took every single item that we had, every component that's gonna be on a plate, Chef Jamie's been working on it for the last 3 months, and we priced out everything accordingly. This is what restaurant prices are. Then, we backed into that with what our 30-day program amount of money is going to be so that you can definitely hit a meal every single month. Now, there are residents that come down just on specific days, as we went through the A, B, and C resident, that they eat differently. So when you say something like nickel and diming, like we're just writing the market. Like you're in Freedom Plaza, and oftentimes you feel like you're in a bubble because it's like, oh, $7.50 and I can get all of this, that's fantastic. But things cost different prices, so we need to account for that every night when we come down to dinner. So that's how we backed into those numbers. But again, your meal plan, Tommy, is not like you're not paying anything additional to come down. It's just what you're eating is going to change.
Are we gonna go, what grade beef are we gonna have from now on?
Jamie and I spoke about this earlier because I got this last night. So are we gonna have better salmon? So our salmon is really good. It's like $10 a pound. Salmon, when we started like doing salmon 10 years ago, it was about $5.79 a pound. Now we're at $10 a pound. Our tenderloin and prime rib are prime cuts.
Prime cuts and their choice.
Okay, prime cuts and choice. Which choice?
Choice is a different grade.
No, I know. I just want to make sure. But our tenderloin is prime. So nothing has been like changed as low, like to lower our end on our meat cuts or our chicken or our salmon. We bring in fresh as much as we can. We live on a peninsula, so it does help us. But there are some items that it makes sense to bring in frozen, and we try to not do that as much as we can.
So I have a question and then clarification. For those who are in assisted living right now, they get 3 meals a day. How will this affect them? Is there still be a declining balance, etc.? Have you thought that through?
So their plan isn't going to change, and we do occasionally have residents from assisted living that do come up and eat in our dining rooms, and we're going to have to figure out a way to how are we going to exchange that meal. But I think that's something that we need to get our heads together on and figure out how that's going to work.
Okay, and then the next, just to clarify, the buffet is only available for dinner, not for lunch. Is that
Correct.
Right?
Dinner Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Question regarding the buffet self-serve. With the possible resurgence of COVID, there might be 50 of us going through the line using the same utensils and breathing in the same pots. Is this a good time to get rid of it being served? I think it's risky to stand in line and use that same utensil that's been used by 40 people ahead of me.
So I think my response to that is, if you aren't feeling well, you shouldn't be coming down to the dining room. You know, we can call Lisa, we can deliver you a meal, and there will be a buffet attendant there wiping things down and making sure the buffet is clean. I don't know, Teresa, if you want to add anything.
I would say too, if that's something that is really a point of contention of coming down where that makes you feel uncomfortable, choose the main dining room or the pub as your option. That's why we have a bunch of different venues to choose from.
Second comment, second question involves the ability to read the visuals, and it's impossible from back here. When will hard copies be available?
This afternoon,
Where?
Stephanie's desk, and it's been sent via email to everyone yesterday.
Thank you.
I have two questions, Teresa.
Yes.
First of all, for the in-room dining pickup option on Sunday, we're now limited to the menu on the grill.
That is correct. If you'd like to come down and eat on Sunday, you can eat in the Sunday brunch, and we'll have plenty of space for you.
And my second question is, in regards to the menu for the dining rooms and the buffet, are we really planning any changes in terms of the quality of the food, the recipes that we use, or is this just repackaging what we're already having on our menus in a different manner and accounting for it differently?
So the buffet will be a different menu we have some recipes that have been working out really, really well. We've had some positive feedback on our residents based on my customer voice and our nightly resident surveys that are going out on food. So we will be keeping some recipes, we will be enhancing some other recipes, and we will be bringing some new things to the menu, or to the table as well. Combination.
Question, if the monthly service fee is not changing, what's the benefit of the 75% plan?
So the benefit of the 75% plan is that you'll continue to get your $41 credit like you do with a 21 meal plan. And you're saying most of the people that do that 21 meal plan, it's because they don't come down every day. So they just wanted a lesser amount to have to spend. So it's really it's just a comparable plan to the 21 meal plan.
I just wanted to thank you for eventually getting around to saying that we would have available $17 a day compared to $7.50. I did not know that, and so the prices here become reasonable, but they're unreasonable if I think they're $7.50. So I think it's a very good way to start to talk off so people can see the prices are not out of line, because they will have way more money and they can see what they can afford. Also, that the buffet is $17 helps us know that we can get through this financially.
Thank you.
Okay, just one quick question. I know you said it, but if we have guests, and they just pay the same price that's on the menu like a restaurant, and that would come off, be on our monthly bill, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay, I know you said it before, but I didn't.
Couple of questions. On the premier dining. On the premier dining, you said that the menu's gonna change every 2 weeks. Now, is it gonna be the same menu rotating? So you have a menu 2 weeks, and then 6 weeks later, when you're gonna start it again, you're gonna have the same menu? Is it gonna be a repeating menu every 2 weeks, and then 6 weeks later you get the menu from 6 weeks ago? Or you're gonna change the menu every day, every week, every 2 weeks?
Okay, so the question was, is the menu gonna change every 6 weeks, and we're gonna come around to that rotation again? So we have 4 cycles, each cycle lasts 2 weeks, so that's an 8-week total to get through all of our menu cycles, where we start back at week 1, or cycle 1. So we have a cycle 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go cycle 1, 2, 3, 4. But we would be changing items that don't work, you know, like as things aren't working, then we take, yeah, just like we do now, Second question?
On the buffet, okay, are there going to be more choices than what we have now? Or is it gonna be the same basic items?
I mean, right now in the buffet, you're getting 3 entrees, 3 to 4 entrees depending, and sometimes 5. So no, we're not gonna add any additional, it'll be very similar to what you have right now.
It's my understanding when you combine the Maui with the J, you're gonna be extending the buffet line. Is you gonna have more items then, or is it gonna be as good? I wasn't sure about that.
We're extending the seating, not the actual buffet. So the buffet is going to, we're gonna have the same amount of items on the buffet, but we're extending the seating for that area. Okay, another question?
Is the pricing going to be the same as it is now, or you're gonna upgrade that as well?
So the grill has always been a la carte, well, for the last like 8-9 years, so it will be very similar to what it is now. If any increases need to be taken, it's very small, like 1%, 2% on specific items that have increased, but not an overhaul on the menu, because the menu is already where it needs to be.
Teresa, I'm fully aware that the $7.50 was not a realistic price for the meals. But there is a large portion of residents that use the 21-day plan. By holding the $41 refund at $41, you are depriving them of 2 additional meals. Because if they had used the $41 at the $7.50, they would have gotten 4 additional meals, while leaving them at $41, but now the price is $17 a day, they're 2 meals short.
I think that we're leaving it as is. So what the benefit might be is if they go with the 75% plan and they feel that they can't, it's not enough for them to eat all the meals they want to eat, then they can go to the full plan. I had talked to a resident yesterday who is a longtime resident when there was an option to be on a flex plan and completely opt out of the meal plan. He's like, well, that doesn't even make sense for me anymore. I'm just going to the full plan. So I can utilize my declining balance and eat in the dining room every day.
Yeah, that's a possibility, but to say that the plan is basically the same and that the residents are, if you drop the dollar amounts and you're saying you were previously providing 21 days in the declining balance and 4+ days in the $41, you are now no longer providing those 25 meals. You are now only providing the 21 meals and possibly 2, because the price now per meal has gone up to $17.50.
And we're gonna have, so while I'm saying it's comparable, I'm not saying it's exactly the same. So we're trying to get away from thinking of it as a daily amount, and we're trying to look at it as a whole monthly amount. So we're doing 75% of that total amount if you want to opt for less than the full plan.
And question, being a newbie, what's driving the need to use monopoly money, which was not discussed in our contracts?
So if you want to look at it that way, you're already using a declining balance. So you already have a declining balance that you work down through each month. This is the same, it's just the pricing of the food is different. So you're getting more to start with at the beginning of the month, and we're just pricing the menu items out based on the cost of those menu items.
Well, the customers need to watch their receipts because the price will change, meaning the people that take the orders need to be sure to put the right amounts down that gets to our balance right, which just is adding to the workload on your side and our side.
Understood, and we actually talked about this in the meeting yesterday, so I'm gonna let Teresa explain that.
So we're working through that right now. A couple nights ago, you saw some of you had 2 tickets when the server came to the dinner, some didn't. So we are going to be working with a team. We work with Full Count. We're going to have a ticket that you sign and then a ticket you can take home with you. So the idea is every night before you leave the dining room, you need to get your ticket. The server needs to be, as we are working with them the next 6 months or 3 months to train them on that, but also communication from the resident as well. Like, hey, I'll take my ticket now. I'm not gonna sit here and chat for a little bit. But the idea is that you're signing it and you're approving that order. And once you sign it, you've approved it. So then we'll keep that as backup to make sure, and it's checks and balances on that server that night to make sure that they rang in the correct thing. The other question was, yesterday, that I thought I should address was, if I come down and I get, the filet and it's not cooked to my liking, can I send it back to the kitchen and not be charged for a second? Absolutely, just like you would in a restaurant.
I think we're starting to wander into the weeds. I think your questions are great, but I think you will answer a lot of these with your emails and the individual meetings. I think we're getting off track.
I think I'll leave too.
Let's take these last couple and then we'll wrap it up.
Excuse me, can you check that?
Okay, hold on. Does anybody have a mic? I'm gonna keep very this. We have like 3 more questions and then over here.
Like the question that was mentioned before, if there's gonna be a lot more confusion because there's a lot more things we'll be ordering, a lot more menus, a lot more venues, and they're gonna make mistakes, the servers. We might lose money every time we eat here because they're gonna make mistakes because there's so many different items and so many different venues and so many different ways. How are we gonna stop the confusion? Another thing I want to say is the food going to be better since we're paying more money for it?
I don't know, Barry, you're hurting my feelings a little bit. Obviously, we definitely need to work on that consistency, and we can talk offline about the things that you want to see on the menu and what you'd like to see.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's about fish and farmed fish. I will not eat farmed fish. My son was in the fish business and told me never to eat farmed fish. So I don't. So I cook fish a lot in my room. Is there going to be any fish that is not farmed served?
Chef?
So that's great, and times have changed from back in the day. So there are a lot of practices with farm fish that are great, clean facilities and have a great product for you. So I go back and forth between farmed and unfarmed fish. I can't guarantee you it'll always be unfarmed fish, so I'll do my best to keep it labeled as possible.
Yeah, if you label it, then I can choose for it.
I got a comment about the pricing. If I look at the 75%, it was, at 75% plan seems to be better than what it was, because the 21-day plan produces like 70%. So I did a quick calculation. We go to the buffet a lot at $17, and if we went in our 21 days, it would be a lot less than what the 75% plan is. So kudos to the
Well,
plan.
and I think that is a prime example of why you have to try and see which plan works for you. And we'll give you that opportunity.
Just a quick question. Teresa, can you clarify the rumors that we're hearing that the salad bar is coming back and also self-serve ice cream?
And self-serve ice cream is a rumor. We kind of looked at that and decided that that wasn't really a good option, as we wanted to keep up with 5-star dining. That looks more of a Golden Corral, so most residents are just not down for that. Salad bar, yes, will come back in the Maui only. So that's how you will get your salad. Now, granted, we need to take our renovation in the Maui for that to happen, but we're going to put some things in place once we start this program to have a buffet salad bar in the Maui only. But you need to come down and eat in the Maui in order to do that. If participation increases in the Maui because of that, then we will look at opening the Maui for Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Gary?
The buffet is gonna be what, Monday, Wednesday, Friday?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday evening, and Sunday brunch.
And it's $17 and it includes everything?
Yes, except for on Wednesdays, which is prime rib, so that is a higher choice item, so it'll probably be around 18 or 19 with the prime rib on it.
Okay. And when can we expect the dining room chairs to be recovered or replaced, because they're nasty?
Agreed. I did get a text from Sibby today that our pub chairs and our high top chairs or bar stools are in, so we'll be changing those out within the next 30 days. And we do have that on the plans for next year. We just don't know when that will happen exactly.
So we're not gonna recover what we have and we're just gonna wait for new ones? So we have to be subjected to sitting on chairs that are ripped and soiled, et cetera?
So, I mean, recovering chairs and buying new chairs is about the same price. So we will be getting new chairs. I just don't ever want to put a date on it because when it doesn't happen on that exact date, everybody gets mad at me. But I am committing to new chairs.
A real quick thought. Right now, I'm on the 21-day plan. I know I get about 150 a month or points to take the 750s off or whatever thing I do. Right now, it works. In the future, we're going to be getting a whole lot more. If you want the full thing, $510, you said. So even if the prices have gone up, we're getting a whole lot more to deduct from monthly.
Exactly.
That's
And
going to work out very close because you guys have to take a lot of time to figure this out. That everybody's going to be fed and fed to what they need and how much, how less, whatever.
That's right. I appreciate that. Thank you, Eileen. We're gonna cut it off there, but we're happy to take emails and see you in the floor meetings.